And away we go, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. The big show's on the radio. This is the Rob Brown Show. This is ESPN Upstate. Welcome in, folks. Great to have you. And because you were concerned, yes, Lonzo, my high school glove does still fit and work. Been a while.
It looks good and all, but I'm a little concerned about you and the ball.
Why? I don't miss, baby.
Pens, phones.
I got a glove this time.
Yeah, okay. This have a tendency to spiral out of control.
Well, if I miss the ball, it's going to go flying across the room, and we'll have more worries than a little sound.
Yeah, that's my concern. I'm not worried about the sound. Sounds good, though.
Soon as Zoe and I get out of here today, we'll be heading on over to Duncan Field, historic Duncan Park in Spartanburg, South Carolina for ESPN Up Night number 1 with the Spartanburgers. Very excited about that. We'll be throwing out a first pitch tonight. I've already confirmed, Lonzo, that we can get there as early as we want. And I have been told that until the pitchers need it, we have full access to the bullpen to put some work in, get the old arm, loosen up, get the old cannon primed and ready to fire. Because your boy's got one chance for glory tonight. And if I blow it, Lonzo, I'm never going to hear the end of it.
I love the we stuff. I'm not throwing anything. So why are you saying we?
You sure about that?
You mean you?
You sure about that?
Don't you do it. Don't
Sure
you do
about
it. Because, yeah, it would be you are going to throw a beautiful ball that the catcher is going to be like, that's some heat, baby.
What are you going to do when it's your turn?
It's not going to be my turn because I'm going to be out there filming the entire thing. So you can see Rob live on our Facebook page, ESPN Upstate, throwing that pitch, the glorious first pitch that will never be topped by any celebrity ever in the history of mankind after this.
Here's the question. 2-seam? 4-seam? What am I throwing tonight? I can go 4-seam, a little more velocity on the 4-seam, a little less control, a little more velo coming up off the top of the arm. But if I go 2-seam, I'm going to lose a few miles, but I'm going to pick up some control on the pitch. Is it more important to register on the gun or to pipe it just right down the gut?
I want to see you throw a knuckle. Can you throw a knuckle?
Yeah, I actually can.
I want to see you throw the knuckle.
I actually can throw a knuckle change. That is a thing I have. I may, in fact, when we get into the bullpen tonight, I'll see if I can say. Let me phrase that. I used to could throw a knuckle. I don't know if I still could, but if we get some BP sessions in the pen tonight, I'll see if I can still break out the knuckle. I used to be able to throw one. It's all about the push, right? A lot of people just want to let it go. You gotta push with the fingers as you're letting the ball, but you can't push too hard because then it rotates forward, and then it's just mustard. Then somebody's taking you about 425 to center. And push the fingers, but not too hard. I used to could throw a knuckle. I don't know if I still got it or not, but I'm gonna try. I think Steven says, word of advice, Rob, lay off the energy drinks and drink more water. You'll notice that there is no Red Bull or Monster in the studio today. It's all Gatorade Zero today. Because your boy's not trying to get out there on the hill and be sweating up a storm, passing out from the heat. Your boy's I'm a fat athlete. In the business, we call him a fat fleet. I'm a fat fleet. Your boy's going out there to show what he used to could do. The glory days come back.
You're just a fat fleet.
I mean, what do you want? Texter says definitely a 4-seam. It's a 4-seam, no doubt. Yeah, I think I probably will. I want to read like if there's a gun, Lonzo. If there's a gun, I got to go 4-seam because I need that thing to get up as high as I can get it.
I'm guessing we could probably request a gun. I'm sure they have one available.
I'm gonna find out. They got a gun. I want it on. I want to see what it checks in at. I might be embarrassed. I have not thrown a pitch in probably 7 years. The last pitch I threw was a first pitch for the Pensacola Blue Wahoos like 6 years ago. That's the last pitch actual over a district.
So what you're saying is this isn't your first time. You've had experience. Not only were you a pitcher in high school, but now you've done this before.
Yeah, I've thrown out a couple of professional game first pitches before. This is the third one, I think, for me.
So there won't be any case of the nerves, anything like
No,
that.
I'm nervous as hell.
Okay.
I'm nervous as hell for one reason. I've been talking junk about it for 2 weeks now. If I go out there and turf the thing, that's going to be mighty embarrassing.
I'm waiting for the email from the powers that be saying, tell Rob to knock it off.
Hey, you have two options, power that be. I either sit here and get back in the groove, or I go out there and embarrass ESPN Upstate tonight. Which do you prefer? All right, I'll stop.
It'll be back before the show is over.
It'll be back before
For
the
sure.
segment's over, more than likely. You know what? Texter says, what's the over-under on Rob's throw? 70 miles an hour? That's right. That's real close. I'm going to take over, but by like 1. I think I'd probably still touch 70, 71. That's a good mark to set. Good mark to set. I was about a 78, 79 guy in high school.
See, this is why, if I understand, and I don't know a lot about pitches, but the knuckle is not a fastball,
No.
right? So this is how you get out of being timed. You throw the knuckle, and it's like, because it's a finesse, and you don't have to worry about
but the knuckle's
people timing you.
The knuckle's only impressive when there's a batter who just can't find it and it goes by the catcher and all that. If I throw a pitch tonight that gets by the catcher, even if it's on purpose, all that's going to be talked about on one other particular show on this broadcast is how Rob how the catcher missed the ball. It was so bad. I'm going, put the glove where you want it, catcher, and don't move it because that's where the ball's coming. That's what I'm going for tonight. All right? Right in the old mitt.
By the way, we're getting requests for video of the pitch, and in case you're tuning in a little bit later, the plan is to do this Facebook Live. So there absolutely will be video of Rob throwing the pitch.
That's so much worse.
Now here's the question. Where should I stand while taking the video? Not in front. I'm not going to, it's going to be a behind kind of thing. So I stand to the left, to the right, directly behind. I'm not quite sure. I've never filmed. I've filmed sporting events, on my phone before, and a camcorder because, my kids. So I have that, but the camera phone takes pretty good video. So I want to make sure that do we get the wide shot? Can we go to Facebook Live in black and white? With the filter,
why do we want it in black and white?
Filter it black and white. Cause it makes it more epic.
Texter says knuckle is too risky. Mark will eat you alive if you bounce it in there. Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. I need to provide him with as little firepower as possible.
But this is bothering me. So this is making it sound like there's fear from the show from men. We've heard what they have. Why would you be afraid of that? I mean, come on.
All right.
Whatever you do is going to be better than anything they could do combined.
I don't know. I bet Diesel could put it. I don't know that Diesel can touch the speed, but I bet Diesel could put it over the dish.
I'm going to go real nerdy here. And I know you're like, yeah. Why did he do? Yeah. So
for the first time
in Dragon Ball Z, when Trunks got his power up a little bit higher, he got too strong. And when he got too strong, he got too stiff and he couldn't fight fast. So here's the thing. Diesel, yes, he's got the muscles, he's got all that, but have you seen him? He's kind of stiff. I mean, there's no fluidity there.
So it's no flex for each medium.
Yeah, you gotta. I mean, I'm not
far.
quite sure if he can get his arms up above his shoulders because there's just so much muscle there.
He's more of a Craig Kimbrell guy, like when Kimbrell used to hang his arms out to the side. He's more of a Kimbrell guy.
Now, if it was underhand pitch, then it'd be good because he wouldn't have to put his arms above his head. So I think you're good.
Ladies and gentlemen, the show for men. All right.
And Mark, have you seen his beard? Old folks home. It's on its way.
He's very gray. You're not wrong.
He's matching. He might be more than me. That's scary.
Let's talk sports, ladies and gentlemen. My arm's going to be hanging at my side for like 3 months after tonight.
I'll say that last one, that pop was pretty strong.
It's there. I still got it. I still got it. All right. Lunch breakdown, 3 things you have to know before you go start talking sports with your friends, family, coworker, or the dog, whoever you spend your lunch break with. Item number 1 on the lunch breakdown today. And it is it's a good one. We start in the Olympics. Simone Biles leaves the individual competitions, leaves the women's all-around competition due to mental health issues, decides to pull out. And a lot of folks thought, well, the Americans are done. Not so fast, my friend. Suni Lee is a name that you're about to know because she's about to be all over Yoweedy's box. Sunisa Lee prepared to begin her floor routine. She knew she was 90 seconds from a potential gold medal win. And what did she do? No big deal. Ice water in the veins, came up clutch. And live from the Ariake Gymnastics Center, Suni Lee would win the gold medal in the in the gymnastics all around for Team USA. She said, coming into this competition, I didn't even think I could be competing for a gold medal. I was competing for a silver medal. Biles sitting up in the stands as Suni Lee went to begin her routine, shouted, "Come on, Suni." And Suni went, the 18-year-old from St. Paul, Minnesota, delivered a strong 13.700 to hold off the field and win the most prestigious title in the sport, Olympic all-around gold. So, ladies and gentlemen, the Americans, without Simone Biles, still bring home the gold medal. Suni Lee, by the way, set to attend Auburn University next year, was expected to take a back seat to Simone, but when Simone gave up the front seat, Suni decided to call shotgun, son, and she brought home a gold medal for Team USA. Item number 2 on the lunch breakdown. Nick Saban is many things, but apparently he ain't a liar. Alabama quarterback Bryce Young has yet to start a game in his young career, and according to Alex Scarborough of ESPN.com, Bryce Young has already signed deals using his name, image, and likeness worth more than $800,000 so far, and has been presented, though not yet accepted, more deals, quote, worth well in excess of $1 million, end quote, according to the 4-letter. Alabama coach Nick Saban sent shockwaves through the college football last week when he told a group of Texas high school coaches that Young was set to make, quote, almost 7 figures. Looks like there ain't no almost necessary in that statement. Saban declined to elaborate on the nature of those deals and would not say who the deals were with, leading to speculation about the actual amount. A lot of us thought, maybe Nick's being just a little bit exaggerative there, but he did not. Stanford coach David Shaw said at Pac-12 Media Days this week that Saban mentioning Young's worth was no accident. He said, quote, "It's obvious to me that Nick wanted to plant that and make sure people knew that. It's a great way to recruit people to come to you." Sources said that Young's deal with Cash App, his only public endorsement to date, is worth 6 figures by itself, and that he has already completed production on a commercial for the company that will also feature NFL quarterbacks Daniel Jones and Trey Lance. The bulk of Young's other deals are in the memorabilia and trading card space, including Leaf, Wildcard, and Onyx. He is represented by Creative Artist Agency and has yet to sign any local deals in Tuscaloosa, which means, though, all of his million-ish dollars in deals are national representation. The dude hasn't even touched the market that he's playing football in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. The former 5-star quarterback from California IA spent his freshman season as the backup to Mac Jones, who led Alabama to a national championship before being selected by the Pats. Young is expected to be a starter, appeared in 9 games, completed 13 of 22 passes for 156 and a touch. Alabama scheduled to open the season against Miami on September 4th in the ATL, and they will have a millionaire quarterback under center, ladies and gentlemen. Here's what I want to do. That was 2. I want to take a break. On time, Lonzo. That's 2 segments in a row. Want to take a break. When we come back, yesterday, we know was a big day in the Big 12, Texas, yada, yada, Oklahoma, yada, yada, yada debate. But last night, if you were not on Twitter, it became an absolute freaking soap opera between the Big 12, Texas, Oklahoma, SEC, and ESPN, who has now been delivered a cease and desist letter from the Big 12. Why? Well, you'll just have to stick around and find out now, won't you? It's called a tease, folks. Payoffs on the other side of the break. Rob Lonzo, it's ESPN Upstate.
QC Kinetics.
Our friends at QC Kinetics want you to feel better, faster, naturally, and without surgery. You are I mentioned her future university destination just for you, Keegan, because I saw you in there. Oh, still got it, Zoe. Still got it.
See, you're acting like I didn't think that you did. There might be some people out there who thought that. It wasn't me. I have every confidence you're going to do a great job.
So here's the second question. Stream, I need your help on this. Am I going full windup? Or do I go from the stretch? I don't know what you want to do.
I say you go with whichever one that looks the best on video.
Well, they're both going to look great. So, if you go full windup, it's facing on, and then it's turning into it.
Oh, no. See, if I'm filming from behind and you do the ball thing that you did just back there, we can slow-mo that later. That would be awesome.
It's if it's going to start in the windup, the ball will start in the glove. If I go from the stretch, the ball's going to start behind the back.
I say stretch.
To the glove. I need to go to the bathroom. I need to think, but that was a more important conversation.
So when I say I have every confidence that Rob is going to throw an awesome pitch, I'm not joking. I think he's going to do it, but I don't like that he's trying to act like I might throw one when I was told I would not be. Now that would be ugly. Because I got a thing, Would I say no? Probably not. As long as they clear part of the field and they're prepared for the ball to go anywhere. It would go the distance it needs to go. It's not going to be accurate, though. For me. For Rob, it's going to be excellent. There's nothing like being in the middle of something and seeing a restart notification. I hope that doesn't actually happen because that would really, really not be good.
When it comes crashing down and it hurts inside. Bum, 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 bum.
I just got a restart notification. I hope my computer just doesn't decide to go. I can't. I'm trying. No, I keep clicking on it. It won't let me get to the part where you say postpone.
Well, mine took a second to give me the drop down menu. The Rob Brown Show rolls on. This is ESPN Upstate. Rob and Lonzo and you. 844-477-3776. What? Oh, the last Facebook stream comment?
That's it. It's a very good question. You and I actually had a conversation about that earlier in the office. So,
we will find out. All right. So yesterday, well, the last week, really. The last week, we've been talking about the Big 12, decrease in size, expansion and contraction. That's the word. I knew I could do it. Big 12 contraction, SEC expansion with the addition of Texas and Oklahoma, which is looking more and more likely by the day. Last night, Twitter exploded with some of the news of what was going on with the SEC, the Big 12, Texas, Oklahoma, and now ESPN. Brett McMurphy of The Athletic, Ross Dellinger of Sports Illustrated, and Dennis Dodd of CBS Sports all got into the mix yesterday. And it was, to say the least, a chaotic evening on social media. Why? Well, we had multiple stories break last night. It started off late in the evening when the Big 12 straight up accused ESPN of trying to, quote, destabilize the Big 12, end quote. Big 12 Commissioner Bob Bowlesby accused ESPN of encouraging other conferences, the Southeastern Conference, of whom ESPN has a vested financial interest, of trying to pick apart the league so Texas and Oklahoma can move to the SEC more quickly and without coming off of that massive buyout. Bowlesby told the Associated Press yesterday, quote, I have absolute certainty that they, ESPN, have been involved in manipulating other conferences to go after our members. Within minutes of that news breaking, the news broke that the Big 12 had sent an official cease and desist letter to the network. That was reported, again, by Max Olson, by, who else was in on that? Brett McMurphy was in on it. A handful of folks did. The cease and desist letter is delivered via email to Brooke Magnus, ESPN's president of programming and original content. It is delivered from the office of Bowlesby, and it starts off by saying, quote, it has come to my direct attention that ESPN, the current business partner of the Big 12 Conference, has taken certain actions that are intended to not only harm the Big 12 Conference, but to result in financial benefits for ESPN. Setting aside ESPN's potential involvement in the recent announcement by the University of Texas and the University of Oklahoma that they intend to leave the Big 12 Conference in 2025, as to which we reserve all legal rights, I am aware that ESPN has also been actively engaged in discussions with at least one other conference regarding that conference, including or inducing additional members of the Big 12 Conference to leave the Big 12 Conference. As you know, our members have entered into contractual obligations to the Big 12 Conference under the amended and restated agreement related to the grant to the conference. Sorry, I'm reading this off the computer screen, and it's very small text, and I'm very old. Of the rights to televise their athletic events, parentheses, the grant of rights agreement, and parentheses. The actions noted above are an apparent attempt to interfere with and to induce our members to breach these contractual obligations to the conference and to encourage further conference realignment for the financial benefit of ESPN. It goes on to say, quote, the Big 12 Conference demands that ESPN immediately cease and desist all actions that may harm the conference and its members, and that it is not reasonable that it not communicate with the Big 12 Conference's existing members or any other NCAA conference regarding the Big 12 Conference's members, possible conference realignment, or potential financial incentives or outcomes related to possible conference realignment. It's a pretty harshly worded letter that got sent from Bob Bowlesby to ESPN yesterday. So Bob Bowlesby has now openly accused ESPN and the SEC, as well as at least one other conference, thought to be the AAC, of trying to poach teams. So basically what Bowlesby is saying happened. And this is where it's fun, because I don't think it's an unreasonable accusation. What Bowlesby is claiming has happened is that ESPN kind of winked, nudged at Texas and Oklahoma and said, hey, over in the SEC, you'll make more money. Then went to at least one other conference, likely the AAC, and said, hey, if you guys jump ship over to the AAC, we can probably get you on more games, probably get you some more money out of that. The Big 12 is going to be dead without Texas and Oklahoma, which I think Diesel agrees with. I think Lonzo agrees with that too. The Big 12 without Texas and Oklahoma is effectively dead, right?
Yeah, there's nobody to lead that conference.
Yeah, effectively dead. So if you guys jump over to the AAC, there's a decent chance you'll be able to survive all of this. Bob Bowlesby is saying that ESPN got directly involved. Well, then Dennis Dodd chimed in, because initially the story was that ESPN was attempting to take 3 to 5 Big 12 members and move them all over to the AAC. Well, Dennis Dodd tweeted out shortly after that, after this story began to grab legs, that the Big 12 now believes the American Conference is attempting to take all 8 remaining members. All 8 of them. The first report said that 3 to 5 Big 12 members were being solicited. Bob Bowlesby believed it was 3 to 5. Dennis Dodd then reported that he has a story going up on CBS Sports that it would be all 8 remaining members. All 8. That is a lot. That is a lot at that point. He put up that story on CBS last night. So we've got now what happened in the span of a couple of hours last night. We have Bob Bowlesby sending a cease and desist to ESPN and accusing them of manipulating the situation. We had the first report come out that ESPN had been trying to recruit 3 to 5 Big 12 members out of the Big 12 and over to the All-American Conference. Then the report came out that it was actually all of the remaining 8 members. So then somebody approached the AAC and said, hey, what up? What y'all doing, man? What y'all doing? What y'all thinking here? Well, Joe Hoyt is a reporter for the Dallas News who covers college sports in Tejas. And according to Joseph Hoyt, he reached out and talked to the AAC. Dennis Dodd confirmed this. He said the AAC, quote, has no comment on whether it conspired with ESPN to acquire 3 to 5 Big 12 teams. Per Dennis Dodd, the Big 12 believes the AAC wants to take all 8 remaining members of the Big 12. I don't think the AAC will have a comment on that new development either. Of course they won't. Lonzo, I try to remind people that no comment doesn't mean it definitely happened. But in this case, no comment means it definitely happened.
I think anytime you hear no comment, you automatically believe that, yeah, you just don't, it happened for sure. I'm looking at the AAC conference. So you add 8 more teams. I believe that makes it 19 teams. That would be a super conference, wouldn't it?
I think 16 is a super conference.
Yeah. So not the other super conference we were expecting, though. This AAC thing, this is
not the conference I expected to get involved. You're right. We all thought it was going to be the ACC, the Big 12, the Big 10, and the SEC that moved on. Now the AAC is trying to make a power play. Doesn't mean it'll last, and it doesn't mean that all 8 members would make the move together.
I am curious about something else, though. Not being a lawyer, I'm sure we have some listening. So if the cease and desist order works and ESPN is unable to talk about this, does that mean an affiliate of ESPN would not be allowed to talk about this?
So I'm going to go with no. I'm going to go with we would still be allowed to talk about it because technically we are not ESPN. We're affiliated with them, but we are not ESPN. Now, ESPN might send an email down the pipe that says all affiliates are prohibited from talking about it.
Because looking at your shirt right there, and I know how that it says ESPN Upstate, which I realize that's the name of the station. I would think that if that works, that we won't be able to talk about it.
I got to tell you, I'd have a pretty hefty moral dilemma on my hands at that point. I really would. I'd have a hefty moral dilemma on my plate.
I don't think it's going to work anyway.
I don't think it will either.
But still, I mean, just thinking about that, that's how many stations across the country that wouldn't be allowed to talk about that. How do you enforce such a thing? What is the penalty?
Do they even acknowledge the cease and desist letter at all? All right, I want to come back to that because that is an interesting direction of conversation. But we weren't done with the drama from last night yet. Ross Dellinger of Sports Illustrated then sent out a tweet that said he has a source within the conference who says that Bob Bowlesby and the rest of the conference are pleading with the presidents and the athletic directors of the other Big 12 schools to stick it out together. He said the source within the conference said, quote, "It is imperative that the 8 of us do not crack and we stay together for the 4 years and hold OU, Texas, and ESPN to the contract, even if it is uncomfortable." We have, ladies and gentlemen, a very interesting real life version of the prisoner's dilemma. You ever heard of the prisoner's dilemma? It's an analytical game that shows how two or more completely rational individuals might not cooperate, even if it appears in their best interest to do so. The premise of the experiment is that multiple members of a criminal organization are arrested and imprisoned. Each prisoner is in solitary confinement with no means of communicating with the other. The prosecutors lack sufficient evidence to convict the pair on the principal charge, but they have enough to convict both on a lesser charge. Simultaneously, the prosecutors offer each prisoner a bargain. Each prisoner is given the opportunity either to betray the other by testifying the other committed the crime or to cooperate with the other by remaining silent. The possible outcomes are if A and B, or in this case, A, B, C, D, E, and F, each betray each other, each of them serves 2 years in prison. If A betrays B, but B remains silent, A is set free, B serves 4 years in prison. If A remains silent, but B betrays A will serve 4 years in prison, and B is set free. And if A and B both remain silent, both of them will serve only 1 year in prison on the lesser charge. Now, it's in both's interest to stay silent, both serve your 1 year, and get yourselves both out at the same time. But if you were sitting there and go, wait a minute, I can roll on the other guy and potentially get myself out, the risk that you take is the other guy rolls on you and you both end up serving 2 years instead of 1. It is in your best interest for both of you to say nothing serve a year and get out. Because if you roll and the other guy rolls, you're both serving 4. If you roll and the other guy doesn't roll, you're serving 4 and he's out. If you don't roll and he does roll, you're screwed. He's not. The point is, the prisoner's dilemma says it will cost you a little bit to get the best possible outcome for all members. But if one person breaks out, everybody else is screwed. Well, that's what we have here. Because it is in the best interest for the Big 12, the remaining schools in the Big 12, to all remain together, united as one, and force OU and Texas to go through the remaining 4 years of the contract, bank as much money off of them as they possibly can, and gives themselves time to see if they can rebuild something that remains viable. But all it takes is one school to bail for another conference, and the wheels come off. Everybody's screwed except that one school. And I got to tell you, the ACC is calling West Virginia with a hefty offer right now. Hey, we know we got to go to 16 to keep up. You fit geographically. You've already got natural rivals. And you're going to make more money in the ACC without Texas and Oklahoma. Come on over. And if West Virginia bails, the Big 12 is definitely screwed.
So West Virginia goes to the ACC. That leaves 7 teams. 7 teams go to the AAC, and then you have an even amount. Instead of 19, you have 18. So it kind of makes sense.
Which makes sense, except for you lose 4 years of Texas, Oklahoma money that would have been squared up among all those other schools, which is good money. I don't think the AAC is going to put the money into the checkbooks that Texas and Oklahoma do for Kansas State. They're just not. They don't have the resources. So it is in everybody's best interest to stick together and ride this thing out until 2025. All it takes is one school to crack, and they're toast. Interesting. So what do you make of this? The saga last night was the Big 12 says that ESPN committed, quote, torturous interference, end quote, by manipulating the situation, by manipulating Texas and Oklahoma to the SEC and getting the AAC to call the other schools and go, hey, Texas and Oklahoma are out. Don't tell anybody, but we'll extend you an invite and you can come make money here if you want. But you got to do it now. Forcing the other schools to potentially bail. Because remember, if they go to the AAC, Texas and Oklahoma are scot-free to go to the SEC without paying a $75+ million exit fee. Who's that make money for? ESPN. Could Bob Bowles be right? He says he has hard evidence of this. I got to tell you, those of you who have always said you love the innocence and passion of the game, that it's not about the money, I bet you're uncomfortable right now, aren't you? Quick break. I'm Rob. He's Lonzo. This is ESPN Upstate.
So the net judge or whatever he's called on volleyball, went like this.
VAR. I don't know if that's what that means.
I have no idea what.
I'm assuming it means replay.
He was really slow, like this. Like, what the heck is he doing? So if you're wondering why I moved the camera, it has nothing to do with what the shirt says. It has to do with it looking like it's cold in here.
I don't even think anybody would be paying attention to what the shirt says, Lonzo.
There was
Until you make it.
No, there was a comment earlier.
There?
Keegan said something about I should put root above the.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Fair.
And at that point, I looked at the shirt and I realized that I didn't like what the camera was showing. So.
Back foot push, people. Tell your kids. Your power is from there.
Well, you're only on camera for half of that. So. Look at that. Look at that.
All your power is in the kick and slide. When you let go of the ball, your front foot should be almost all the way to the front of the mound, and there should be a drag mark.
Microban 24 keeps killing bacteria for 24 hours, touch after touch. When used as directed, Microban 24, touch after touch, it doesn't give up.
Chantilly lace and a pretty face with a ponytail hanging around. Wiggle in the walk and the giggle in the talk. Makes the world go row, row, round. There ain't nothing in the world like a brown-eyed girl that make me act so funny, make me spend my money. Make me feel real loose like a long-necked goose. I like a girl, oh, baby. That's what I like.
Impressive.
It's a great song, man.
Even before my time, though. That's why,
It all stays through low auto rate and be better protected from rain.
By Capital One Auto Navigator, where you can find a car, get pre-qualified instantly, and see your real monthly payment without impacting your credit score. Capital One, what's in your wallet? Terms and conditions apply. Find out more at CapitalOne.com/Auto Navigator.
Real unfiltered. Every weekday noon to 3.
Oh, drop the bass, baby. Oh. I didn't want to talk, man. The Rob Brown Show's on your radio. It's ESPN Upstate.
Is that how you groove in the club?
You don't even know. Yes, that is how I groove in the club.
Should I have said that differently? I mean, I don't know what the vernacular of the day is. I'm a grandpa.
I don't know the last time I was in the club is, so I don't know either.
Have you ever went to the club to dance?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I will still go to the club, but I have found that as I have aged out of my the club years, I am less about the club and more about like the dive bar with an old guy in the corner playing an acoustic guitar that he has worn the scratch guard off of for 50 years, playing the same 7 John Denver songs 3 nights a week.
All right. I was picturing some Gordon Lightfoot in there, but that's just
yeah, man. The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. One of the greatest saga songs ever written.
So sad.
Very, but a great tune, man.
It's in my Spotify. I'm not criticizing
Yeah.
it. I was here. There's a reason
I was
why I
just
brought him up.
I'm just more showing off that I know who you were talking
Oh,
about
okay.
than anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have traded the club for the bar. Where it's laid back. You go in, you have your 1 or 2 beers, and you go home because you're old. And if you make it back around to where there's 2 digits on the clock, you know that you're going to have a long day the next day.
So is the karaoke bar like in between that bar and the club? I don't know. I don't go to those. So I'm just trying to learn here.
Quick admission. Hate karaoke bars. I hate karaoke, man. I hate karaoke. Why? Y'all who like karaoke, why? Why? Why do you want to go listen to crappier versions of already bad music? Why?
I got to tell you, one of the only times that I've been to a karaoke place, it's a Mexican restaurant, and they had karaoke there, and there was some people in there who English was not their first language, trying to sing some songs, and it was really hard to eat. It was so a smile on my face just thinking about it.
Nothing.
It's like in the distance, and you're like, "Is that what I?" And then you look over and you see the guy. It's like, no.
Nothing will get me to depart your watering hole faster than a sign that says karaoke tonight. You know what else is tonight? Me leaving now. I'm out. Karaoke's terrible because there's 3 groups.
But listen, this makes no sense. You're in a cover band. How could
Right.
you not like karaoke?
Right. And you know what we do? Practice to make the music good.
That makes it sound like you don't believe anyone can sing karaoke, and it sounds
No,
good.
here's the thing. There's 3 types of karaoke people, right? There's the people that are good who like put on a performance. And I'm fine with that. I have heard, as a matter of fact, I was at a watering hole in Greenville a handful of weeks ago, and they surprised karaoke on me, and it was too late to leave because I had already ordered my food, though I did call over my waitress and be like, hey, can you make my food to go? I legitimately asked for my dinner to go because I wasn't sticking around. And this young lady gets up there on stage and drops pipes, man. Phenomenal singer. But then that's one of every like 15 people who get to a karaoke mic. The second group of people are the people who are bad and they know it and they embrace it. And they do it ironically and for fun. And they have the time of their life singing a song poorly. But see, here's the problem that I have. I still have to listen to you sing a crappy song, even if you're funny when you're doing it.
Does your opinion change after you've been there for a while?
No.
Okay, because I'm just guessing because consuming certain beverages
Nope.
might make things a little more tolerable.
I can knock down.
Again, I'm guessing because I don't know.
I
so.
can knock down 8 or 9 vodka Sprites and still be like, I'm out, dude. Somebody get me an Uber.
Can you really
I'm gone.
drink that many of those?
Oh, I'm a 6'3", 250-pound Irish Catholic.
Again, I don't know. I
I'm-
don't know.
Yeah, the answer is yes.
Okay.
The answer is yes. The third group of people are the people who make it insufferable, Lonzo. The third group of the people are the people who are bad at karaoke, but think they're good at karaoke. That's who kills me. Those are the people who make it. The people who are bad but know it, they always at least pick songs like, yeah, I'll do Vanilla Ice because it's funny. All right, at least I can tolerate that while I'm waiting on my to-go food. But the people who go up there, I saw a girl once, Lonzo, demand silence, quote, for my performance, end quote, at a karaoke bar. Ladies and gentlemen, karaoke is not a performance. You are not getting paid. No one bought a ticket to see you. No one has a drink minimum to watch you poorly sing whatever garbage song you picked. You are not performing karaoke, and I am not here to watch you perform, especially when you go up there and you're 2 octaves off and off key and inconsistent and putting flair in the song when you ain't got flair at all. Stop.
Did she say you're welcome, drop the mic, and walk off the stage
No.
when she was done? Okay.
She took a bow and no one was clapping. I swear to you, she gets the mic. Next up on the stage, Veronica. I don't know if her name. I don't know if that's her name. Grabs the mic and is like, ladies and gentlemen, may I please have complete silence for my performance? And I thought it was a joke. I'm like, oh, she's got something wild lined up here. Something good's coming, right? And then they started playing What was that Evanescence song?
Wake me up.
That's the one.
Okay.
Bring me up inside. I can't wake up. The song's over. The bar is like, and she sets the mic in the holster and takes a bow.
Why didn't you rush the stage and do the rap part?
I wanted no part of that or any other karaoke night ever. We're back after this on the Rob Brown Show. It's ESPN Upstate. All right, ladies and gentlemen, wrapping up hour number 1. When we come back in hour number 2, we'll get back into that Big 12 story a little further, plus some of the tweets that dropped last night that threw some real tension into the expansion talk. Also, a toxic take from a very popular sports talker about Simone Biles. And you wonder why people get riled up? I'm going to share that quote for you coming up in the next segment, as well as Dabo's thoughts on expansion that are scaring the hell out of a lot of people. All that more in the next hour of the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate.
An Odyssey station.
Automotivemap.com presents your ESPN Upstate Sports Center update powered by The Score. Following a loss to the Mets yesterday, the Braves interaction today 5 games back of New York in the National League East and 1 game back of the second-place Phillies, who are 4 games back of the Mets. Braves
Number.
playing day baseball today as they
Number.
wrap up their series against each other. Some good news on the injury front. Catcher Travis d'Arnaud, he is scheduled to begin a rehab assignment tomorrow at AAA Gwinnett, and pitcher Huascar Noah, he is expected to start a rehab
Rob.
assignment coming up next week after they wrap up their series against the Mets today. They are set for a weekend series against Milwaukee, which will begin tomorrow. Download the Score app today. Lightning fast sports alerts so you
Prisma in the next break.
Why the Score app
I also need that number.
is America's most popular sports apps. For ESPN Upstate Sports Center update, I'm Matt Pauley.
It's the season premiere. To 3 Rob Brown. League action and historic.
Running out of time, man.
Oh, so, damn. I'm just sitting here.
I feel like said it like 3 or 4
I know, that's
times.
my
And
bad. Did you mute the stream? 336.
For just 5 cents a day, you too can say an umpire who is no longer in society thanks to
Hey, we have about 10 seconds. Because, you know, see, people are slow. That's all. Yeah, hang on. People, Rob just ignores me.
I accept the blame.
Just ignores people and stuff. I would have yelled, but I didn't want to jump scare you.
I'm glad you know me, because it would have. The Rob Brown Show back on your radio. This is ESPN Upstate. Hello, Upstate South Carolina. Great to be back with you again. I am Rob, back in the network studio. Back in the.
Well, it's very accurate. It really is.
Technically, I didn't pause, so it could have been my name is Rob back in the network studio, which
Could have.
is true.
Could
I
have.
spent a year and 4 months on the couch at the Casa de Love, and now I'm back in the Upstate studio. So I maintain that is not an error. It is not the E1.
Except for the part where you hit the desk and then got all frustrated, and everyone could see it and hear it. Except for that part, yeah, you could have got away with it.
The key isn't to not make mistakes. We're all going to do it. The key is to make the mistake, roll on like you did it on purpose, and don't let anybody know that it was a mistake.
Absolutely.
That's the secret.
And
to
hope
success.
that the person across from you doesn't point out what you
Yeah.
just did.
Yeah, that would help. That would go a long way in that.
Which I was not going to do, by the way.
Till you did.
No, you did it. You did that to yourself. I can't wait to till you talk to our next guest, because I'm sure he brought barbecue with him.
God, I could use some barbecue. Rashad Beard, is the host of the Panther Nation podcast. You can find them on Twitter at Panther Nation PC or search Panther Nation podcast on YouTube. My source for all things Carolina Panthers is the Panthers are officially down here in Spartanburg at Wofford College, getting set up. One day of camp already in the books, another one today. We will be broadcasting live Saturday from Panthers camp, followed by a night practice. And then it's all football all the way till the preseason. Shad, what's up, fella?
What's going on, Rob? Just got back home from said camp. So it was good stuff. Good stuff, man. Lots to talk about. Getting antsy here.
Yup. Been reading the reports, been watching the tape, been getting ready. So your eyes on, man. Your eyes on. What have you seen so far? What do you like?
Yeah, I mean, it's really difficult to kind of pull from these. They are in shells. They're not in pads. There's another, I think, 4 or 5 more days before they get in pads. But I mean, so there's not too much to take away. But from what I see so far, Sam Darnold looks very steady out there. Yesterday, he had one bad throw where Stanley Thomas Oliver, who was drafted last year, jumped the route and almost house called it. But other than that, I mean, he's been pretty steady. I mean, defense is hard to take away. One big takeaway that I did see is that I saw a lot of 3-man fronts. We did hear that, Phil Snow was saying that they're going to run a 4-3 base defense. I mean, obviously, you're not going to go out there and show all that you're going to do during the season. But I'm seeing a lot of 3-man fronts out there. And J.C. Horn looks as advertised. He looks very big to be a cornerback, very physical. And yeah, man, it's just good stuff. Terrace Marshall was looking good out there. He had a rough day yesterday, bounced back well today in Robbie Anderson's absence due to an illness. So yeah, it's good stuff. Good stuff. Dan Arnold to Sam Darnold, or Sam Darnold to Dan Arnold. Excuse me. That connection is great. Saw that multiple times yesterday. They're getting that connection going, and it's looking good. I'm excited. I'm nice and steady.
Love it. Rashad Beard of the Panther Nation podcast joining us here on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate. So one of the things that I'm really intrigued by is that the Panthers have gone a long, long way in trying to improve the defensive backfield, the same starting defensive backfield that Sam Darnold is going to be going one-on-one with throughout this camp. It's a battle I, as a football guy, am very excited to watch. This young up-and-coming quarterback trying to prove that the struggles he had in New York were because of New York, not because of him, going up against a defensive backfield that has gotten dramatically better, especially with some young names like J.C. Horn back there. But I try to caution Panthers fans, and I want you to tell me if my message is on point or if I'm off base here, Rashad. I have told people, do not read too much into any 3 or 4 or 5 day streak where one side is getting the better of the other significantly, whether it's Darnold burning the DBs or the DBs taking everything away from Sam Darnold. Don't read too much into it, because both of these parties are really finding their footing in this camp. Is that a take that makes sense?
Yeah, that makes complete sense, and it's fair. I mean, Sam Darnold's still learning this offense. You got J.C. Horn, who is, by the way, taking second team reps. So he's not getting starting reps. He's running with the twos. And so this defense is still trying to figure it out too. And the secondary is the back in the secondary, 2 safeties. You got J.C. Horn. You got Jeremy Chin back there, and Justin Burris. Those guys are, Justin Burris played last year, but Jeremy Chin's moving back there full time. And so there's some fluidity going on. So those guys have to learn what's going on. Now, Sam Darnold, again, he's looked very steady, not too many mistakes, albeit outside the one mistake yesterday. And again, I agree 100% with your assessment that, dude, you can't take too much away if one side is getting. I mean, Sam Darnold has to learn this offense. You got to get comfortable with the receivers, and there's a long way to go for this team to really, really kind of kick it in gear. Now, I would lean towards a little bit more success if we were to go out there and dominate against the Colts and the Ravens in joint practices. That's kind of a different discussion. Still preseason. I know teams are still, but that's a little bit more exciting for me. Going against each other, it's like, all right, they're going to know each other. They've been with each other all OTAs. They've been with each other for training camp. They're going to start to realize what each other trying to do against each other. And so it's going to be easy to figure each other out. So, again, I agree with that assessment 100%.
Rashad Beard is the host of the Panther Nation podcast. You can check them out on YouTube. They got some great stuff up there. They go live every week. I know there's going to be a bunch of stuff during camp. Rashad is going to be joining us for some segments live this Saturday evening down at Wofford, which, yes, I know you owe you a return phone call, Rashad, and you'll get it after the show today. I've been watching some reports from individual reporters that are also there at camp. And one of them got into the 7-on-7 drills. Now, I know it's been basically hats and shirts and not even shells yet. We'll be picking that up in the next couple of days. But there's been a lot of 7-on-7, which basically comes down to the skill sets, right? It's offensive receivers, no contact, get into your routes, get out of your routes, execute your turns and catches. DBs, it's all about technique and form. It's all about making sure that you're not losing guys on routes, that your body positioning is correct. With these 7-on-7 drills, I know that we have seen a couple of picks. I think DJ Moore, one went through his hand that Jeremy Shin ended up housing the other way. Anybody standing out early when we are watching these technique-based drills so far?
I think DJ Moore, man, outside of the tip ball today, I think which got away from him a little bit. It might have been a little bit of an errant throw. I didn't quite get a great look at it just because it's hard to see where the angle I was at. But DJ Moore looks fantastic. I mean, he's in the one-on-ones, he's really toasting everybody. And again, those lean towards an offensive-minded drill. They're not designed, for defensive backs to win per se. So they're, it is what it is. But DJ Moore looks fantastic out there. Like you said, Jeremy Chin looks good. But really, it's hard. It's really hard to take away, especially from 7-on-7. I believe in that particular drill that you're talking about where Jeremy Chin got the house call. I think that was actually 11-on-11. So that one was full out because they did do 11-on-11 today for the first time. But it's really difficult to take away anything right now. Again, I do like what DJ Moore is doing. And Terrace Marshall, the fact that he had a bounce back day today, I think that needs to be commended because he had a rough day yesterday. Yesterday he had 2 drops. And Terrace Marshall, the rookie, bounced back, albeit in Robbie Anderson's absence. He got to run with the ones. He was number 2 receiver, lined up, did very well. Omar Bayless is another wide receiver, undrafted free agent we picked up last year who went down in injury. He looked really good today. And I know a lot of the upstate wants to talk about Shi Smith. Yesterday, he had a really good day. Today was a little bit quiet for him, but Shi Smith looked fantastic yesterday. Outside of that, there's no real takeaway. It's just hard, man, especially from a defensive backside. They can't be physical. They're trying to just hang in there, and it's just really geared towards the offense. So outside of that, nothing much for me.
Rashad Beard, host of the Panther Nation podcast, joining us here on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate. Talk to me a little bit about what we've seen out of Shi so far. I mean, obviously a South Carolina guy, a guy that was kind of the workhorse of the wide receiver core for the Gamecocks the last couple of years, took some time off at the end of the season to get ready for the National Football League draft. And a guy a lot of folks down here are watching. I said when he got drafted, I think he's kind of a slot guy. He's kind of a 4th wide receiver when you go 5 wide situation. I don't think a guy you're going to see a ton of snaps in the normal offensive sets, but a dude who could be very, very valuable as a possession receiver, a dude that could come up very big on some 3rd and 4 situations, 3rd and 5 style situations, etc. Have we seen anything out of camp that lets us know that he is going to be in addition to the offense?
Yeah. I think I think he looked good. I think the battle for the 5th, 6th, and potentially 7th receiver is going to be intense. And I don't know where he fits in that. Obviously, I do think he's going to make the team. I don't think there's going to be a problem there. But yesterday, man, he looked really good. I mean, he was popping out. All I saw was 12. I'm like, who is that? That's number 12, Shi Smith. He's just beating guys, catching. He's got really good hands. The one place I was looking to see his impact was on special teams. And they were doing punt drills today on the near side of the field, which made it a bit easier to see today because yesterday they were doing it on the far field and we couldn't see. It was really difficult to see the numbers. I did not see him doing punt return drills. Not to say he won't do kick returns, but punt returns, I did not specifically see him. So that's where I thought he was going to get to prove his worth and kind of get on the field a little bit more, was going to be in special teams. And I did not see that today. Not to say he's not going to get reps there, but I did not see that today. But outside of that, yesterday he looked really good route runner. He's beating guys with quickness, quick feet, especially those quick out routes, those quick slants. He looked really good there. I think he's gonna compete. I think he's gonna be really good. He's gonna think of a solid contributions this year.
Rashad Beard, host of the Panther Nation podcast, joining us here on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate, talking a little Carolina Panther football as they are set in training camp over in Wofford in Spartanburg. We'll be broadcasting live this Saturday. We'll be there during the day. We are live from 4 to 6, and then we're sticking around to watch practice afterwards on Saturday evening. You mentioned the defense a little while ago, and I know it's kind of hard to get a read about the lines when most of everything we're doing is either no or light contact, Rashad. But this is a point in time where chemistry is being built. This is a point in time where schemes are being evaluated. Guys are being slotted into the positions that they will be lined up in when we do put on the shoulder pads in 2 or 3 days. Obviously, there's names we're keeping an eye on, guys like Taylor Moton, on guys like Christensen, the rook. I know it's kind of hard to evaluate offensive and defensive lines when we are shells and no contact yet, but have you gotten eyes on anybody across the line that has maybe stood out in the first couple of days of practice?
I mean, yeah, from a defensive perspective, I mean, Derek Brown looks like a monster out there. It looks like he put on some muscle. He's cut up a little bit more. So I really, really think he's going to have a monster year. And I think the biggest thing that popped out to me, I think I said this a little bit earlier, was the scheme, right? I think we ran a nice little 3-4, which is kind of where you would think, given the personnel that we have with Brian Burns, Hassan Reddick, with those guys out on the edge as outside linebackers, it looked scary. I mean, there was an 11-on-11 drill, and I saw Brian Burns literally in the backfield, like, as soon as the ball was snapped. And if pads were on and they were allowed to hit, Sam Darnold would have been bad for him. So, I mean, Brian Burns is again, he put on some weight too. I think it was reported yesterday he put on 12 pounds. So he looks fantastic out there as expected. From the offensive side of the ball, it's shaky for me, man. The offensive line, if you go out to Wofford, you'll see them practicing way off in the corner. I don't know if they're trying to protect those guys because it's so shaky. I mean, all you heard Matt Rule and Scott Fitterer say was the offensive line is fluid. That's all we heard during their press conferences at training camp, when they kicked off training camp. And so those guys are way back in the corner. You can take what you want from it, but they don't come together with Sam Darnold until maybe until the 11-on-11s, right? And so we're starting to see a little bit of that. And I've been projecting out the offensive line, and it's what we always thought it would be, right? Cam Irving at left tackle, Taylor Moton at right tackle, John Miller, Paradis, and Eflin in a guard and center. So I think that is concerning to me. I mean, that's kind of where we are. The offensive line, again, when it's hard to say when they're just in pads or they're not in pads yet, but it's hard to say how it's going to turn out. But I'm nervous. I'm really nervous about the offensive line. Christensen and those guys and all the other undrafted free agents that we picked up, they're all, they're running with the 2s and 3s. So it just kind of is what it is. The offensive line is going to be a problem for the Panthers. I just think it's going to be a problem, a reoccurring problem throughout the season. Again, there's no takeaways yet, but that's just where I'm at right now.
Rashad Beard, host of the Panther Nation podcast here on the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate. We talk to him every Thursday at 1:00. All right, Rashad, we are a couple of days deep. We got a few more. We're going to go eyes on Saturday. We'll be able to sit there and talk football in person, which I'm looking forward to. With that being said, not in full pads yet, as we mentioned a couple of times. We're on the way. What do you, if you can walk away from this camp saying the Panthers accomplished 3 things, what do you want those 3 things to be that you can say this hit when we're all said and done?
Number one, I'd like to see the secondary. Like, if our secondary is, and J.C. Horn is inserted at number one cornerback, which hasn't been done yet. But if he makes that step to go ahead and take that number one spot, and he looks good, which he does, I think that's one of them. Offensive line has to be checked. I mean, I know I'm concerned about it, and I've voiced my concern over and over and over. But if we can find some solidarity there, I would be great. I need that box checked in order for me to really feel confident about this team moving forward. And then I guess number 3 would probably be Sam. Sam's got to be consistent. Sam's got to be consistent. We've got to see him not make mistakes, which was what I saw today. There's no major mistakes today. He looked good. And if we can continue that, I think we'll be fine. So offensive line, Sam Darnold being consistent, and J.C. Horn and the rest of that secondary kind of stepping up. Those are the 3 things I need to see in order for me to feel confident about training camp and going on to the season.
Rashad Beard here on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate. We will be live this Saturday on the air 4 to 6 from camp over at Wofford College in Spartanburg. Rashad will be joining us in and out during the show to talk about his thoughts. We'll watch practice on Saturday night and talk some Panther football. Shad, my man, looking forward to getting to meet you on Saturday, big dog.
Yeah, looking forward to it, brother.
It's going to be a good time. That's Rashad Beard. Find the Panther Nation podcast on Twitter at Panther Nation PC and on YouTube by searching Panther Nation Podcast. They go live multiple times a week. When we come back here in just a minute, Casey Milton of the Spartanburgers joins us to talk a little bit about tonight's festivities as your boy and Lonzo. Scratch that. Your boys. It's plural. We'll be there. Just kind of curious as to what selection Lonzo's going to use for his first pitch.
Not happening. You're not going to spring this on me. I don't believe you for a second. I think you're messing with me.
You said you wanted to be involved.
Listen, I will probably do whatever's asked of me. I'm not going to 100% say yes to anything before I'm told what it is.
Dizzy bat race?
That's going to be embarrassing, but yeah, I probably will do that.
Back after this on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate.
Prisma.
Prisma Health right here in the Upstate wants you to be able to take care of your health. You got nothing if you don't have your health. It's just a painful reality. All the money, all the friends, all the toys, all the family, it doesn't matter if you can't enjoy it because you're just not healthy. So go to prismahealth.org and check out all the ways that Prisma Health not only helps to keep you healthy, but gives you the opportunity to take the best care of yourself to make it happen. They've got over 2,400 medical healthcare providers within their network. They have locations scattered all around the Upstate and the Midlands, and they have the MyChart feature, which lets you keep all of your medical healthcare information right there
only treatments. Learn more about new biologic therapy options now available here. Restorative, regenerative treatments for joint
Uh-oh, did she take a badminton to the neck? Oh, she won. Okay. It hurt.
So the same thing. Okay. I ended up calling the wrong number. That's the reason why. Did I call the wrong number or you gave me the wrong number? We'll find out.
We'll find out.
No, it's the same thing. So maybe I wrote something down wrong.
Numbers 864
Mm-hmm.
707
Mm-hmm.
1197.
Then why does it say Dan Foster?
Check over here.
And you just gave his number out over there.
That's all right. Well, it's not the wrong number. I gave Dan's number out.
You gave Dan's number.
All right, let me give you a different one. Let me mute this. This is ESPN Upstate. Rob, Lonzo, and you. Glad to have you guys along for the ride. Coming up in just a few hours from now, Lonzo and I will be live at historic Duncan Park over in Spartanburg as we participate in the first of two ESPN Upstate nights with the Spartanburgers. Hashtag Heat and Meat. Hashtag Beef Boy Summers. Casey freaking Milton, who has rapidly become one of my favorite people to talk to on air from the Spartanburgers, joins us here on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate. Casey, happy game day, big fella.
Hey, man, every game day is happy game day. And I don't know how you found out my given Christian middle name was freaking, but I made good investigative status on your part, so I appreciate that.
Love it. I have a very important question to ask you, Casey.
Yes, sir, I have a very important answer.
Two-seam or fast or four-seam tonight?
I always do. I think the two-seamer. You're good. That's a long 90 feet. So just get it in there, rock it in there, right in the zone as best you can, man.
Second question. Full wind-up from the stretch. I feel like the stretch looks cooler, spinning the ball behind the back a little bit. I'm all about the aesthetics here. As a branding guy, what's going to look better on the social media, full wind-up or from the stretch?
You got to go full wind up, high leg kick, spit before, spit before, and then if you got the skill, sir, you could do submarine. Do some submarine pitching. That's viral right there.
The old Nomo style from back in the day.
You forgot the third question. The third question is the gun available?
Yeah, Lonzo wants me on the radar. I don't know if I'm ready for that.
We'll see. We'll see. We got the gun. We'll see. Put you on the TrackMan analytics. see how fast you could go, man. Yeah, sometimes it's better not knowing, but hey, if you want the numbers, we'll give them to you.
I got to leave a little mystery, a little mystery in case I don't know, Zoe, I might get signed to the Spartan.
Hold on. Casey just threw some shade, some doubt your way. Sometimes it's better not knowing. I don't think he thinks you're capable of throwing that kind of heat.
Or he knows there might be a roster spot in the rotation for me next year, and he doesn't want to give away the secret weapon. I think that's what Casey meant.
There you go, man. Look, we can't, got to play some cards close to the chest. Just as with coaches with the lineup, you submit the lineup at the last possible minute. You can't give any team any advantage that you have. As we look to improve upon the season, we may just want to keep our rosters, our secret weapons, the Rob Browns. We might want to keep that a little bit low key right now.
I love it. Casey Milton from the Spartan Burgers joining us here on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate. We will be there this evening at historic Duncan Park in Spartanburg for ESPN Upstate night with the Spartan Burgers. Very much looking forward to it. Do me a favor, because I know we talked a little bit about it the other day, but one of the things that I loved, our buddy Keegan, who's going to be coming along as the official photographer for the evening. I was looking through the gallery of some of the photos he's taken at games, and one thing that I've noticed, Casey, is that you guys go so far to involve the kids that come out. So it's not just another baseball game for them. It's a full experience. But, we've mentioned a number of times, the last few times we've talked to you, that this is a family-friendly event. You guys go so far to include the kids in this, Casey, and I think it's important that gets noticed.
Yeah, man. And, I've been a season ticket holder at some, for MLB when I was stationed out in DC. I always went to Camden Yards, and you kind of look and they'll maybe do something for the kids like once a game, but you have your standard virtual concession race, a cup game, and then really down at this level of baseball at the minor and collegiate summer leagues, it's the opportunity to get there and just be a part of the team and really be a part of the show. And, in spite, we've had many children's TV shows in the past, kids say the darndest things, America's Funniest Home Videos, and we really try to embody that. Kids are entertaining, man. We just get out there. It really is about how cute they are and how silly I can make them look. And then that just bumps up our entertainment value. So they're really helping me out.
Lonzo told me earlier he cannot wait to get out there and embarrass some kids tonight.
Oh, man, trust me. We're all about that. Lonzo, V, Little Slider, Dizzy Bat. It is happening tonight, historic Duncan Park.
Let's go. I'm so excited. Casey Milton from the Spartan Burgers joining us here on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate. Game tonight at 7:05. You're going to want to get there early because, we're going to be hanging out. Looking forward to getting out there. And I think that's the other part that's really cool about this. Is a lot of folks hear it, and I've actually talked to some folks, Casey, that they're like, baseball games, it's baseball everywhere. But you guys do stuff with the fans, engage with the fans, involve the fans, so that the fans, and you told me this the first time we talked on air, you guys want to make this a fan-involved experience to the point that the fan-involved experience matters just as much as the game itself.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the team's out there, the boys are out there to get better, see what they can do with the wooden bat, play America's greatest pastime. But surrounding that is really what I'm charged with. And it's everything from, us wanting to clean up the stadium in an entertaining way. We have our ushers dressed in elf hats. They're playing Hi Ho from Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, just over the PA system. And it's everything we do. We want it to be entertaining. And a lot of fans really just, they appreciate the devils in the details. One of my favorite fan interactions we have all year, our program and scorecard literally says 0 cents right on the front. And every game, I guarantee you, there will be at least 5 people asking, how much is this? And it's just everything we do. It's devils in the details, wanting to be entertaining, wanting to invoke a smile, wanting to just really just spread joy around the game of baseball.
Casey Milton from the Spartan Burgers joining us here on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate. Will be there tonight as the Spartanburgers take on the Forest City Owls. Let's talk to me about baseball a little bit. Tell me a little bit about the folks who come out tonight, especially. I know there's at least a handful of people that are coming. This is their first game, their first opportunity to go eyes on the Spartanburgers. Tell me a little bit about the team that they're going to see tonight, the game they're going to see tonight, the opponent they're going to see tonight. Talk inside, talk actual baseball with me, Casey Milton.
Yes, sir. So tonight we do things a little bit differently, just at the Coastal Plain League level. So tonight, just a good exhibition game. We actually carry 2 squads and kind of like a minor league developmental system, even within this system, when we have our exhibition squad's going to be taking the field against the Forest City Owls exhibition squad. And how we use these games is kind of a rehabilitation for guys that have been getting a lot of innings, doing a lot of pitches so they could get their bullpen in, rest their arms. And so we have our exhibition squad, which is really staffed with regional, local talent. So you got guys from Spartanburg Methodist, you got guys from local colleges just coming out here. It'll be a good 7 innings of pure baseball. I mean, even last night, Spartanburgers put on a hitting clinic. John Michael Fail, former D2 College Player of the Year last year, 3-run bomb. We had 20 hits, actually set a franchise record last night. So baseball is hot on the diamond.
Love it. Casey Milton from the Spartanburgers here on the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate. Lonzo and I will be there this evening, 7:05 first pitch, but get there early. You can still register for your last chance to win a family 4-pack on our website at espnupstate.com or go to thespartanburgers.com to pick up your tickets for tonight's game and all the remaining home games on the schedule, thespartanburgers.com. All right, Casey Milton, I need it from you, dude. Advice for tonight, standing on the hill in front of the millions and millions of Spartanburgers fans. I need your advice. What do I need to keep in mind when I go through the single most high-pressure situation since I moved to the Upstate?
Ooh, I would say that, you go in, you say, finally, Rob Brown coming in, getting his chance to throw a first pitch on the mound, show him what he's about. All I gotta say, no pressure. Just go out there. Pretend there's no fans in the stands. You don't have a huge jack college D1 catcher looking at you, probably Ben Hutchins from the Citadel. You won't have that. Just get out there. My advice to you, and I've said this before, and I say this to every first pitch. The bar minimum, you just don't throw the ball at a right angle like 50 Cent. Don't throw the ball at a right angle like Carly Rae Jepsen. Bar none, the 2 worst first pitches of all time. And that's the bar you have to beat. And so realizing that that's a low bar and anything you do better than that's in the positive will take some pressure off those broad shoulders, even though I know they could handle it. I have full faith and confidence in you, sir.
Let's go. That makes one of us.
I felt uncomfortable there. I'm just wondering, is it wrong to heckle someone while they're getting ready to throw the first pitch?
I would just say you're not going to be thrown out for heckling. I'm just not going to encourage it, but I will say you will not be chastised for it.
I love it. I've never seen Lonzo get so excited by a single answer in the entire time we've been doing this show. Casey Milton with the Spartanburgers, my dude. We will see you in just a few hours. I am greatly looking forward to it, my man.
Oh, same here, man. Thank you so much. It's gonna be a good night, and don't worry. I will say this. We'll leave you with this. Before Lonzo heckles you, you'll get a chance to get your revenge in the Dizzy Bet, sir. And that's all you'll need.
I just want you to know I'm all about entertaining. That's all it is. That's all it is.
Casey Milton from the Spartanburgers. We will see you over in the Berg in just a little while, man. Thanks as always, big guy.
Yes, sir. Gates open at 6. Beer served at 6:01.
6:01 is on the calendar. Thank you very much. That's Casey Milton with the Spartanburgers. Quick break. When we come back, you want to know why people get so passionate about defending athletes like Simone Biles? I got a bit of sound for you I'm going to play. Plus, the saga of Kelvin Benjamin has just grown to Atlantean proportions. And I mean that literally and metaphorically. We're back after this on the Rob Brown Show. It's ESPN Upstate.
Yeah.
bring your glove?
No, because you said you wasn't bringing one.
No, I did not.
You said you're in a
was-
quandary because you always make fun of guys who bring their glove, and I pointed out to you, well, how are you going to throw bullpen without?
And then I said, okay, yeah, that's a good point. I'll bring it. So I need to go home and get you a glove.
Or I could ask someone to bring me one. It isn't like I don't have one.
Yeah, we got to get some catching.
What makes you think that I have the strength in my arm to throw the ball back to you after you throw it to me? What makes you think that I could actually catch a ball that you throw to me?
You're D1 athlete.
No. And even if I were D1, which I should have been, so says all D3,
D1
D2.
athlete.
Yes. It wasn't in baseball. If I do indeed need to get someone to bring me a glove, they have been texting me, and I probably could get my wife to run one up to me. But it's a half-hour drive, man. You know, so
She's coming to the game though.
she's not sure yet because of heat. The fact that they're asking me now if there are, tickets available for them to come. They were yesterday acting like they probably wouldn't come. Now they're acting like they might. So we'll see. And the more you threaten to embarrass me on the air, the more they're considering coming to watch it happen.
ESPN, Zoe, tonight, please start the Rob Brown Show chant. Tinky Winky.
For that, I'm going to need some people in the audience, planted in the audience, who would, just like what wrestling does and says they don't, that gets chants started and then people pick it up. So I got a few people who might help me with that. Why, yes, Keegan, I did.
I didn't. I got home from trivia too late. I'll admit it.
But we're going to discuss it anyway.
That's fine.
The assignment was given with enough time.
I didn't tell you what I did in my D&D game. So my fighter,
Mhm.
my DM told me that my professional wrestler fighter has to have a weapon. So I have a sword. You know what I named it? Bobby Slashley.
Nice. Nice.
I am proud of how much of a loser I am.
I did the dizzy thing one time and ended up bloody, so I'm a little concerned. Thought Jericho's match was bloody. That could happen to me tonight. I don't know if I mentioned it, but I will again. Golf cart in the next break.
Okay. The Rob Brown Show rolls on. This is ESPN Upstate. Rob Lonzo and you. Give me clip number 2, if you don't mind, Lonzo. You want to know why folks like me, and you can call me the soft-hearted liberal, the bleeding heart, whatever you want. Do you want to know why people like me came to the defense of Simone Biles? I'm about to play you a clip from a well-known, I hate to even get into it because it's not about the politics here, but a sports take. Remember, I've told you, There's two circles, the sports circle and the politics circle, and we do our best to try to keep them from getting into each other. But there is a little spot where those two circles overlap into a Venn diagram. This is one of them. A well-known conservative radio host who I will not name. You know who this is, don't you?
No.
You really don't?
No, I don't. So how well known is he?
All right. Well, then he's well known on the social media circles.
Okay, there we go.
Here, I'll tell you this. He runs an organization. I'll tell you off the air, Lonzo. He runs an organization that is huge amongst the conservative sphere on college campuses. Anyway, I'm not going to give you the guy's name because he says dumb stuff like this for attention. He says dumb stuff like what I'm about to play you for attention. So I'm not going to give it to him. You want to go find it? You can listen to the quote. You can go search it. I'm not telling you who it is. He doesn't get that from me. But this was his. What was that? Did it just sound like something exploded?
Yeah, I was just like, what did you do?
I didn't touch anything.
Your finger went up. So
no, I swear to you, I did not touch his microphone.
No, your finger did go up, but
Right.
there could have been static electricity.
Maybe that's what it was.
that hit it at the. That's what I'm going
I
with.
didn't touch anything.
This room is electric with both of us in it.
Boogie, woogie, woogie. All right, here is what this conservative internet radio show host said about Simone Biles.
So Simone Biles, who's obviously a very talented gymnast, decided not to compete in the gold medal competition. Now, she probably could have just competed and just kind of checked the boxes and they would have got a gold medal. Simone Biles says, this Olympic Games, I wanted to be for myself when I came in, and I felt like I was still doing it for other people, as she cried after the team event on Tuesday. So it like hurts my heart because doing what I love has been kind of taken away from me to please other people. Yeah, that's the point, Simone Biles. You're representing your nation, you're selfish sociopath. You kidding me? Today it's like, you know what? I'm not going to do something stupid and get hurt. It's just not worth it, especially when you have like three amazing athletes that can step up to the plate and do it. So you know who has the gold medal? Russia. I have to go look at these 4'11" Russian Olympians chewing on their gold medals, smirking at the Americans. I'm not okay with that. But honestly, that's where we're headed. We are raising a generation of weak people like Simone Biles. Again, if you want to be, if she got all these mental health problems, don't show up. She's an incredible athlete. Of course she's an incredible athlete. I'm not saying, I just said she's probably the greatest gymnast of all time. She's also very selfish. She's immature, and she is a shame to the country. She's totally a sociopath. Of course she's a sociopath. Andrew says she's not a sociopath. What kind of person skips the gold medal match? Who does that? It's a shame to the nation. You just gave a gift to the Russians. Don't show up. If you're not ready for the big time, we got thousands of young female gymnasts that would love to take the place. Thousands. Simone Biles just showed the rest of the nation that when things get tough, you shatter into a million pieces.
That is the dumbest thing I have heard in a very long time, and I hear dumb things daily. She's a sociopath? Okay, doctor. Appreciate the diagnosis. There are thousands of young gymnasts. Yeah, great. Find me one who can do what Simone Biles can do. She wilts under pressure. Yeah, which is why she has a freaking cabinet full of gold medals and tournament championships from around the world. This is why. This guy should be embarrassed by how stupid that is. This is not, Rob Brown tries to sugarcoat things for the sake of keeping dignity in conversation, even when I disagree with you. This guy needs to shut the hell up. That was a terrible take from top to bottom. And see, the problem is there are young people out there who struggle with depression and anxiety. And this idiot is going, oh, the Russians are mocking us. Nah, nah, nah. I got $1 says he doesn't look and go, the Russians beat us in double rowing, and now they're smirking at us because they beat us in a boat. Grrr, shut up.
Did they beat us in double rowing?
I don't know. I just had to pick a sport that
I'm just thinking Russia not very good at rowing. I just don't know why, but that's what I'm going with.
because all the water's frozen.
Yeah, I mean, you know.
Do you have a reaction to what this clown just said?
Well, I heard you when you were recording it earlier, and I think you could find a lot of takes like this off of podcasters or people of that ilk.
This guy's crazy popular.
Well, you say he's crazy popular. The thing is, if I haven't heard of him, he's not really that popular.
Standard bearer, ladies and gentlemen. It's this guy. You know
Yeah,
this guy?
yeah. I looked it up, and
Okay.
I still don't. I don't know. And
He's big amongst the youths.
is he?
Yeah,
Okay, and
big
you
amongst the
and you
youths.
say he's political, and even though I work on it,
Very political.
even though I work on what people consider a political station, doesn't mean I'm a political person. I know the big names. This guy, not a big name to me. And
You ever heard of this organization?
I think so.
That's his.
But again, you're more political than I am. So this brings up more anger with you on other fronts.
No.
He's entitled to his opinion. He's wrong.
It's
He's
a terrible opinion.
He's absolutely wrong. But that's welcome to America.
I have
And
a,
also welcome to the internet, where you can say just about anything you want to say and get clicks. So
There was a comedian once who said, we have to allow all opinions. We do not have to respect all opinions. We have to allow them. You are allowed to say your opinion. You do not deserve to have it respected because you have
you're
it.
right. You have the freedom of speech, but sometimes that speech comes with consequences. So, I mean, if you say something stupid, people are going to come at you about it. And that's just how that goes. And I'm sure he could care less about your opinion about it. And other people were coming at him. I don't agree with him. I think it's pretty dumb. And I think I proved again how non-political I am to a certain degree, because again, I'd never heard of that
I am
guy
surprised
before.
you haven't heard of this guy.
Yeah, because you and I really have deep political discussions in the office, don't
We
we?
really do. We really do. And yet
Well.
we'll still buy not a beer together.
Well, no, we won't. Yeah, you're right.
Texter says ESPN, this guy, he names it, he knew who it was, said he's a complete asshat. Yeah, I don't go to name calling very often. This should get you run out of any room with people in it who have any dignity at all.
Well, takes like that are why people on one side of the aisle think so people on the other side are a certain way. And you cannot look at one person or listen to one person and judge an entire group by it. That's you shouldn't do that.
Shouldn't. I agree with you. I agree with you on that. This, however, I have seen up on social media pages around the interwebs. This guy.
If you recall, when this happened, I said there'll be some people out there who will say she
Yeah.
was a quitter, and just because it's obvious,
No,
there are going to
look.
be people jumping on that and saying that.
You want to call him a quitter? I'll have the conversation with you. You want to call her a quitter? When you start labeling her a sociopath and you start bagging on her like this clown did, no. You can, as the Brits say, something right off with that. That's noise, and it does not need to be in the public discourse. Quick break. We wrap up hour 2 after this on the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate.
Golf cart.
That's right. $2021 Upstate Golf Cart on sale now. 9 beautiful courses, 9 prestigious courses around the Upstate. Just $99 get you around at all 9 of them. But supplies are limited. They will go fast. So you're going to want to get yours and get yours now. What better way to spend a beautiful Upstate summer than out on the course dinking and dunking your way around 18 after 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 18 for $99? Less than $15 around, less than $1 a hole. Good luck finding a deal like that anywhere else. Ladies and gentlemen, go to upstategolfcard.com to learn more and get yours now. Upstategolfcard.com. It's the 2021 Upstate Golf Card.
So a sociopath is a person with a personality disorder manifesting itself in extreme antisocial attitudes and behavior and lack of conscience. So in other words, another part of the definition says they don't care about other people's feelings, and it just doesn't seem to apply.
Oh, it absolutely does.
Yeah, and there's a lot of what's the difference between sociopath and psychopath? I don't want to look.
Sociopath is someone who has a disconnect from regular emotions and regular emotions in a social setting. They can't. It's a lack of empathy, but they don't have the same social emotion. Whereas you might get like embarrassed, or it might bother you if you hurt somebody's feelings, or you don't want to reject somebody, etc. These people don't have those feelings, which is why many CEOs of Fortune 500 companies, the people who have to literally step on people's throats to reach the top of their company, are diagnosed sociopaths because they don't have emotion. They don't care if they fire you and you go, but I have a 1-year-old child and a wife who's unemployed, and if I lose this job, I'll lose everything. And they don't care because they don't feel empathy. Whereas a
you know what? I'm so glad that there's none of those in radio.
Correct. Definitely not in this bloodthirsty business that we're all involved in. A psychopath is, and I'm doing this off the top of my head, a psychopath is somebody who does not have control or normalcy of their own thoughts and emotions. A sociopath can be you ever seen American Psycho?
No.
Okay. Great movie with Christian Bateman.
Christian Bale.
Bale.
Yeah.
Very different actors.
Yeah, you're thinking Jason Bateman.
No, American Psycho.
You're trying to mix Jason Bateman
movie.
and Christian Bale together, which
into the greatest actor the world has ever known.
I don't care how this sounds, but for the most part, I try not to watch movies that are rooted in possible reality. So, I mean,
That's fair. Because it is.
If I can hear it reported on my other part of my job, then I don't want to watch it in a movie more than likely.
That's fair.
And yes, I am a child, but children belong in radio. We are the Lost Boys.
True.
I got Pat Benatar's "We Belong" stuck in my head for some reason. Not sure if you know that song. I hope you don't, because if you did, you'd sing it. That dude right there almost got a bullseye. It was so close. He got it in the ring, but yeah, that dude.
He also shot a 4 earlier, so he's
You see the that was him. I mean, it's as close as we've seen anybody.
The American dude had him down 2-0. Now we're at 3-3.
Well, hitting that shot probably brought him back pretty good.
Yeah. All right, so we got a couple of 9s on the board here. Those space station bows they use.
Wonder how heavy those things are. They've got to be heavy with
yeah.
all the stuff on. I'm sure they try to make them lightweight. That's a botch.
Up to an 8.
Almost thought he hit the other arrow and it went down.
Door for you. USA, 132 BPM on the heart.
There you go. There you go. Thank you, dude, who looks like he belongs on a fisherman show.
That's why he's so good at this. The favorite thing about the shooting events in the Olympics, whether it's archery or skeet shooting, is that every shooting event is being won by an American, because obviously, and B, everyone who is winning gold in these shooting events looks like he just walked off a farm in Kentucky. And that's not judgment. That's exactly who we should be sending to the Olympics.
And should be on the cover of an outdoors magazine.
Yeah, that's exactly who we should be sending.
Wearing some flannel, like Diesel was doing yesterday.
First off, big fan of flannel. Not when it's 97 friggin' degrees outside, but big fan. Hashtag Merc.
Again, Diesel was wearing flannel yesterday. I just want to point that out. I thought it was a little warm for that, but it is cold in studio on occasion.
True story. Texter says that guy we played the audio from the last clip, whose name I'm not going to tell you. You want to know that bad? You can go research it. I'm not giving him the attention he so desperately craves. That guy is a complete asset. Yep. Another guy says, Texter, he says, ESPN, she literally had the yip. She was lost in the air and didn't know quite where she was landing. Pretty sure that was blank, the correct guy. And he can get bent. Yes, he can get bent. He absolutely can. What a terrible take. And yeah, she had...
What does that mean, get bent? I've heard it a bunch, but can you explain that to me during the break?
Yes.
I don't really know.
Yes, I can, because I can't explain it on the air.
Yeah, I don't want to look it
up. She has the yips, which means that when you're a gymnast, you practice so much that the flips and the twists become muscle memory, like shooting a free throw or hitting a putt. And any athlete will tell you after a while, that muscle memory, you second guess it. And once you second guess it, that's where free throws go bad. That's where putts go bad. It's called getting the yips. And she literally said she has that, which means that those natural movements she's so damn good at, they weren't coming for her. And she was falling. Shut your mouth, idiot. The saga of Kelvin Benjamin when we return on the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate. Stick around. Yes, correct take, Stacks, especially for the keep your politics out of my sports group. Stathaga says the Russians never have much of a navy, just don't attack them during the winter. And imagine Jason Bateman playing American Psycho. I'd watch that movie. I'd pay so much for it. Steven says, what's the over-under on Rob throwing a strike versus a ball? You know what that is? That's a K, son. That's a K. That's a K.
Apparently, that's a K.
You know what a K is?
Yes, I know what a K is. I know what a K is. It is my pledge, and I will continue to do so. Try to keep politics off of the show as much as I can. So if you really like politics, then you don't like me. So I think I've done a pretty good job compared to what I heard before I was here. So. Will Rob make it back in time for the intro? Because I'm not adding spots. I'm just going to start the show. He's got 10 seconds till intro. I don't hear him coming down the hallway. Oh, crap.
The third, the final, the best, the money hour. The Rob Brown Show goes right now. This is ESPN Upstate. How long was that playing for?
I was getting ready to crack open the mic.
Okay. I had to think.
I wanted to give you just a few more seconds before I did it.
I got like halfway through the process and was like, oh, it's the top of the hour break. I have significantly less time now.
And this has nothing to do with nerves going in tonight. And
I'm good right now.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm good right now.
You're positive?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm good right this second. It'll be when they announce it later. That's when I hear the name, that's when I'll get nervous. But even still, champions rise to the occasion, Lonzo. Slap the glass.
All right, I was joking about heckling you before you thought, because I want you to do a good job. I don't want you to do a bad job.
No, I mean, I'm representing our shows, though.
Yeah.
You know,
and the station and the company and and the world or something like that. So I mean,
all of America.
Yeah, that's right. So I want you to do well.
If I throw a ball, I'm a sociopath.
I will tell you that I will be doing commentary while posting it live on Facebook as it goes on. And I may not be very kind because I try to be honest.
I expect the truth out of Lonzo.
You also have to realize that, I'm not a baseball guy, but it doesn't mean I haven't been to baseball games or, I've thrown the ball, I've hit the ball. I know how everything works. So if it's bad, I'm going to know it's bad. And you guys will know too, because you're going to be able to see it live on Facebook.
Love it.
If the pitch goes awry, if someone needs medical attention, which could be Rob after he falls off the mound.
The person who will need medical attention will be me, because I'm telling you.
If while I'm behind him filming, the ball slips out of his hand when he goes for it and it just hits me in the head, I might need medical attention.
I'm trying to tell you, I'm putting everything I got into it tonight.
That's the part that worries me.
I'm putting everything I got. And if I need to go all Steve Austin $1 Million Man on an arm and get a new robo arm a la Winter Soldier tomorrow, so be it. The hopes and dreams of millions of Americans ride on the first pitch tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Go to ESPNUpstate.com. I believe we still have time for you to get registered to win a family 4-pack. You'll be able to come to the studio before 5 and pick them up. And if not, go to thespartanburgers.com and buy your tickets. They're cheap and it's fun and it's affordable. You want to take the kids to a baseball game? This is how you do it.
By the way, I'm not sure that you picked the tickets up at the studio. I think it might be.
They're e-tickets. That's right. They're virtual tickets.
I think I heard something about that.
Yeah, you're right. They're virtual tickets.
So don't come. Don't listen to him. Don't come to the studio because you can't get in.
Go to ESPNUpstate.com to register. And if you don't win, go to thespartanburgers.com. You can buy your tickets there cheap. And come up and say hi. I want to meet you guys, man. That's what I'm here for, to be part of this community. I want to meet every one of you.
And when
Even if you hate me,
when you meet Rob, I'll wave.
From a distance. The saga of Kelvin Benjamin. Kelvin Benjamin, former Florida State Seminole. You guys know him well. He spent some time in the Panthers organization.
Also known as Biggin.
Kelvin has had some issues. Kelvin was released yesterday by the New York Giants. Why? Well, it depends on who you ask. The Giants, when Kelvin Benjamin got signed, as, by the way, a tight end, not a wide receiver. Why? Because Kelvin Benjamin checked into camp a few weeks back at 265 pounds. Now, let me make abundantly clear before we start this. I am not weight shaming anyone here. All right? I'm not. Because, Lonzo, if there's one person in this building that cannot weight shame, it's me. As a fat fleet, I can't weight shame anybody because I am, weighted. So Kelvin Benjamin comes up to camp, a former wide receiver, at 256 pounds. Sorry, 265 pounds. 265 pounds.
Wouldn't be bad if he was like 6'9".
Yeah.
Something like that.
And at 265, you're a blocking tight end, but you can still jump in there. Whatever. Giants said to Kelvin Benjamin, you're 265. We want you to report to camp at 251. That is 14 pounds in effectively 3 weeks. For a top flight athlete, that's reasonable. Kelvin Benjamin showed up to camp yesterday, Lonzo, at 268. 3 pounds heavier than he left when they told him come down 14. Benjamin was confirmed to be fined for reporting overweight, even though he did pass his conditioning test. Well, the rumor that started going around was that after showing up at camp, Kelvin Benjamin began stealing food from the Giants facility and leaving with it. Now, I do want to have one serious bit of conversation here. I'd be willing to bet Kelvin Benjamin has an eating disorder of some type, right? I mean, the amount of desire to continue to eat and get larger when you get told, hey, this is your last chance at millions of dollars and a career, but to embrace that, you have to lose 14 pounds and then gain 3. That tells me my guy's got an eating disorder, except for after it was over, he didn't say anything. He was confronted on the field by Coach Judge and by Dave Gettleman, who both brought up incidents that occurred during the spring, including Benjamin taking food from the facility and leaving.
So I don't understand how this works as far as NFL facilities go. Do they have to buy their own food? Because I was always led to believe that while the players are there, they ate food, like had a cafeteria type thing. So how is it stealing food unless he like went back into the pantry part
and started taking boxes of food?
I mean, I
don't know is the answer, but clearly it was an egregious enough a violation because Kelvin Benjamin got cut from the team. 30 years old, cut from the team because of it. He went off and blasted Joe Judge and Dave Gettleman, saying that there was nothing wrong. It shouldn't have been handled that way, that they were too spontaneous. They blah, 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 blah. Not good. Well, clip number 7, if you don't mind, Lonzo. I actually have audio that I've gained from the checkup with the team that led to the demise of Kelvin Benjamin. Here is that leaked audio.
So, Matt, these blood tests are going to show you the damage that you've been doing to your body. And my hope is that it will incentivize you to finally lose some of this disgusting weight you've put on.
This is ridiculous, dude. Okay? We're getting older. We're not going to look 20 forever.
No, I am going to look 20 forever, Mac, because the older I get, the more vigilant I become. All right? I don't eat lunch anymore, for instance. Yeah. And on odd days, I don't eat breakfast. That sounds miserable. No, dude, it's not miserable. Well, yeah, it is a little bit miserable, but it has to be, man. No pain, no gain.
Dude, we've been through this, okay? I'm cultivating mass.
Stop saying that. You are not cultivating mass. And if you are, stop cultivating and start harvesting.
Did you want me to read these test results or not?
Yeah, just try. Move him. It's like a brick
wall. You try to move me, Doc.
No. Here, read the results.
Well, I see severe dehydration here, multiple vitamin deficiencies, anemia, low blood pressure. These are your results, Mr. Reynolds.
What? No, those can't be my results. I'm healthy as shit.
Well, not according to your tests.
There was a doctor's appointment. They call Kelvin Mr. Reynolds when he's around there. Definitely not a scene from the show Always Sunny in Philadelphia with a character named Fat Mac, who I've also been told that I look like just like Will Wheaton. Have you ever seen this show, Lonzo?
I tried. I really did try. And it's just maybe it's one of those that gets better in the second season. But I watched a few episodes and it's just, Danny DeVito is funny in anything he's in. But
that's Fat Mac.
Okay.
Who I have been told I look like. Me, Fat Mac, and Will Wheaton.
What a combo. You guys should do a movie together.
I'm telling you. Anyway, look, jokes aside, it sucks for Kelvin Benjamin. I suspect there's an eating disorder. I hope my dude gets the help he needs. But at the same time, this is like chance number 5 for Kelvin. I feel for him.
See, I disagree. I don't think it is an eating disorder. He's big anyway. He was big when he came out of college, when he was on the Panthers. He'd always been big. I mean, I don't want to say big bone, but he's a big, his structure is big. It just is. I think this is more of an arrogance thing that they're just saying this. They're not going to do this to me. I'm Kelvin Benjamin. That's what I think it is. I think it's oh yeah, I'll show them. I'll still be on the team. They ain't going to do this to me. And I think he's shocked that they actually did it to him. So maybe it's a wake up call that someone called his bluff and cut his big butt.
I mean, he's unemployed today. Again, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt and say it is an eating disorder, that he just does not have a healthy relationship with food. And trust me, I know how that goes. But man, Kelvin, you had an opportunity here to revive the career in a team that loves using tight ends.
I think the team is also obligated, if they thought that there might be an eating disorder, to have it checked out with whatever doctors they needed to have it checked out with. And the fact that we haven't heard about it makes me think it's not one. I think it's more of an attitude thing.
Possibility. All right, let's do this. Let's take a break. When we come back, Lonzo's Fight Club, your home for all things combat sports in the upstate, and it has been a busy 2 weeks in wrestling. MMA, some big news breaking today as well. All that coming up next in Lonzo's Fight Club right here on The Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate.
Although you probably would do that on a normal day. So
I very much would.
any idea what EPO is?
EPO?
Yeah. Covington is accusing Usman of using the EPO his entire career.
Assuming a steroid then?
I guess.
Erythropoietin? It's what Lance Armstrong used.
So it is
a naturally occurring hormone in the body that stimulates the bone marrow to produce more red blood cells. Medically, it is given to patients with anemia of chronic disease whose bone marrow is suppressed to help them have more energy and increase daily function, but injected into an elite athlete, and the extra oxygen increases their aerobic capacity. If the cell factory runs out of oxygen, it turns to anaerobic metabolism, whose waste products shut down the ability to perform, the risk of increasing the number of red cells. Too many red cells can cause blood to sludge and clot in arteries and veins, causing bad things like strokes and heart attacks.
Ow. Welcome into the Fight Club. We are pumped. We are amped. We are excited. Rob Brown cannot contain himself because he's envisioning the show for men on the other end of that pitch tonight. And it's going to blaze like fire through the atmosphere. Cannot wait to see that. So if you get a chance, come out to the Spartanburgers game tonight and experience the Rob Brown experience. Let's get to
build up.
Yeah, I know.
Let the world down now.
No, you're not. No, you're not. It's gonna be awesome. By the way, should be live on Facebook. I plan on broadcasting it live on Facebook with commentary, positive commentary, because we don't on this program put each other down, because that would just not be it wouldn't be funny. It wouldn't be anyway. That's obviously a lie. All right, let's get to some things going on. We do have a text. Before we get to that, there's breaking news. Amanda Nunes fight with Pena is off because Amanda Nunes has COVID.
Got the Rona. Yeah.
She does, so it is off. Obviously, everyone knows Amanda Nunes is ducking Pena because she's scared of her, because Amanda Nunes, not a very good fighter. So,
I'm still listening.
It was sarcasm.
I'm letting you host, but I am still paying attention.
It was sarcasm.
Okay.
And yeah, Amanda Nunes is probably the baddest fighter on the entire planet. Don't like her, but still probably the baddest.
Bad lady.
Yes, she is. Yes, she is.
Bad
She's
lady.
Undefeated for a reason. All right. So we had a texter who, would you read the text, Rob, please?
Yes. The texter says ESPN Lonzo, Dana White recently announced Usman Covington 2. How do you feel this rematch will go?
This is going to be interesting. All the hype leading into the first one. There's a lot. Covington, I think he got some ire out of Usman that he wasn't expecting. Even though Usman tried to act like it wasn't bothering him too much, it got to him and he lost the fight. But now he's coming at him again, because I'm looking at an article right now where Covington is accusing Usman of using EPO. He says he's been using it all his life. There's some language there that I would not use and I feel uncomfortable reading. But one thing I will read is they can verify that he has done EPO and he's injected in his butt. So he's the CEO of EPO. He's Marty Juiceman.
The CEO of it. So EPO, for those of you who don't know, I can't pronounce the word because I'm an idiot, but it is the steroid.
You're not a doctor. I mean,
Yes,
so you're good.
It is the steroid. It's actually not a steroid. It's a hormone. It is the hormone that Lance Armstrong used. This hormone induces your bone marrow to produce more red blood cells. And with more red blood cells comes an increased aerobic capacity, meaning you're able, you have more energy. Your body doesn't tire, doesn't wear. You don't run out of breath as quickly as you normally would. It's a big stamina improver, if you will. It's what Lance Armstrong used when he was doping for the Tour de France.
So the advantage for a fighter would be that they would still have energy going, into later rounds.
Still going while your opponent's starting to breathe heavy. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. I don't know if they actually test for that or not.
But he said he has proof of it. He says he knows it for a fact. Is that what you read?
That said, although Usman has never tested positive for PEDs, Covington is confident he is using. So he's just accusing him of that.
Sure.
And sometimes when someone's accused of something, the powers that be actually check into it. So you never know.
Yeah.
You never know. Since he's never failed a test, you got to believe that maybe Covington is just talking stuff again. I'm looking forward to that fight because they don't like each other. And when two fighters don't like each other, you don't need all that hugging and, oh man, good job and bowing and everything. You're not going to get any of that. You're just going to get some bad blood and some people wanting to make the other person bleed. Speaking of blood. All right. And also speaking of blood, I want to make sure we have enough time to talk about this. There was a match last night on AEW Dynamite that made me uncomfortable.
I wondered how you were going to react to
that. And I don't think this has anything to do with my age. I think this has to do with, I get the entertainment value of wrestling. That's why I'm into it. I love the storylines. I love the fact that these athletes put their bodies on the line, usually like the majority of the year when they were traveling, and they're starting to do that again. And so night after night, they're doing this. I think it's amazing. But then there are some matches I don't get the appeal. And there was a death match last night between Chris Jericho and I got to look up the dude's name just because Nick Gage, because apparently he's a big time guy on the death match scene.
Yeah.
And during the match, he brings out tubes, fluorescent light tubes. And if you've ever been around one of those when they break, I don't think these are actually fluorescent light tubes because those have gas in them. And I didn't see any gas escape last night. So I think these may be tubes without gas.
Either way, they explode.
Yeah, no, they absolutely explode. But there's fluorescent, there's gas in there. So I don't think they could do that. And I hope that I'm right about that because that makes it even worse. So he's famous for this. They show some of the stuff leading up to the match of some of the things. And he's also famous for dying in the ring. For dying during a match. I think they said he was dead for 8 minutes. Yeah. And then when they brought him back he wanted to go back and finish the match. That's not grit. That's stupidity. But anyway, and if he was standing in this room, I probably wouldn't say any of that because he's a scary dude.
In 2009, severed an artery. Blood started pouring from him in a shock injury. He had to be rushed to the hospital in a helicopter, according to the Daily Star in England, was declared dead for 7 minutes before he was resuscitated and brought back to life. He was thrown through the wall of tubing surrounding the ring, and a piece of glass sliced open one of his arteries. And I'll just say, for the record, I have not watched this match yet. It's DVR'd. I got home from trivia too late, and I didn't want to watch it without being alert for what was happening in Charlotte. But I've seen clips of it. If
you would have watched it, you would have immediately been alert. Yeah. My thing is, first of all, I don't see the appeal in this. When I watch TLC or hardcore matches, if someone's on top of a ladder or if someone's on top of the Tron or something and they're getting ready to jump off, I always say, please don't die because you don't know. They could. That doesn't bother me nearly as much as this one did because a dude brings out a pizza cutter and goes into Jericho's head, causing it to bleed and everything. Once you have scar tissue up there, your forehead's going to bleed, especially some old school wrestlers. If you look at, guys like Arn Anderson, guys like that Dusty Rhodes back in the day when he was still alive.
You can still see the scars that like Rikishi and these guys. You can still see the scars in their forehead from when they used to blade.
Yeah. And Jericho right away in the first part of the match gets pizza cuttered in the arm and his arm starts bleeding. So blood, I don't want to say I'm okay with, but I get it. But the fluorescent tube stuff, at some points, he breaks the fluorescent tube and digs it into Jericho's head. Now, is he actually digging it in there? I don't know. The camera cuts away.
So
it sure does look like that. So you're bringing your kid to, if you're an adult and you want to go see that, that's fine. But there are kids there watching that. I think there's a line that maybe they're crossing with it. When you bring out a pane of glass and stick it between two chairs, and then Jericho, I think it was the Hurricane Rana. I never can say that right. Hurricane Rana. I think that's what it was. Don't come at me like JR because I'm not. I'm not that guy.
Shivani.
Yeah, don't come at me. That's not what it was. You just wouldn't look. Okay. Anyway, it was. He drove the dude through a pane of glass and he landed in the glass. And later on, Jericho gets slammed into the glass. Is it sugar glass? I don't know. Is it real glass? Maybe, maybe not. But the fact that it's cutting into her skin, the tubes and the pizza cutter and stuff, I don't get it. You know why I don't get it? I don't get it for Jericho this late in his career. Unless Jericho is like, you know what? I'm just about done.
Yeah.
I'm going to do all this stuff that I want to do that maybe I did earlier in my career or never did. I'm going to go out in such a way that it's going to be a Chris Jericho way, because everything he does is memorable. He's recreated his character so many times and he's been successful everywhere he's gone. If you're going to go out this way, but don't literally go out. And that is my concern.
So I think with the premise of, you got a couple of things mixed up, right? You got the labors of Jericho, which I got to tell you,
it's a good premise. Love it. Love it. I like the story.
Second off, the final boss is MJF, who is Jericho's protege in AEW right now, and the leading guy to take that spot when it's all time. And the third thing, third and fourth, is the opponents Jericho's squaring off with. These are guys that are legends from his past that we're seeing lined up. And the conditions he's being put through, because every condition is tied into some part of one of the many characters of faces of Jericho from over the years. So the next match he has to win, his finisher has to be a top rope move, which is something you would expect from 1994 WCW Chris Jericho, not 2021 55-year-old Chris Jericho. And he's got to do it against a surprise wrestler who we haven't seen in years on one of these stages, but who was an enormous rival of Jericho back during those days. I get the impression this is a Jericho farewell tour, and what a hell of a way to do it. It's one of those times that you look at a guy who's a legend, and I felt this way about Undertaker after Lesnar. We never should have seen the Undertaker again after Brock Lesnar. Should have been it. The streak's over, and Undertaker just disappears. I think AEW is smarter than that, right? I think that doesn't mean Jericho has to leave AEW. He can still be a valet. He can still be, they may move him to the commentary table where he's been so good for them. But this feels like you get 12 different stages of Jericho against all these different heels from his past, foes from his past. And the final boss is to put MJF over and give him the rub on the way out the door. I mean, what a hell of a story they're putting together with Chris Jericho.
Yeah, for sure. Because if you listen to Jericho's podcast, which I do, he's mentioned Nick Gage before. So I wasn't surprised when they said his name, just because I can't remember it. It's because I can't believe the match. He's going on tour pretty soon, including a European tour with Fozzy, with his band Fozzy, and they've charted a bunch lately. So they're kicking it out, and the songs are actually pretty good, which is surprising because when they first started advertising the band, I thought it was a parody band.
I did too.
Yeah, just the name Fozzy alone, you think Fozzy Bear. So Keegan says, I was shocked that Jericho went through all that. Fake or not, he looked exhausted. Here's the thing, Keegan. If you look at his eyes, I think he was hitting the bubbly. But that's just me. What do I know? He talks about it all the time. Maybe that part's real. And he's leading that rock star lifestyle. And maybe you need to do some of that in order to go through what you're about to go through. Look, I don't know.
All right. Knowing the premise of that match and knowing that in order to sell that match, you got to get a little gory. You got to get a little, because if you don't, it doesn't sell the match, right? It was kind of the same premise with the exploding barbed wire cage match with John Moxley and Omega years ago, I guess about a year ago, which I still maintain was a really well told story, even though we didn't get the explosion that we wanted. I think they looked and said, if we're going to do a death match, we got to sell the death match. There's got to be blood. There's got to be gore. It's got to.
Eddie really sold that though.
It's got to feel like you are. It's got to make the viewers uncomfortable to watch because if anything goes wrong, it might be a death match, like a legit death match. And if if you're one of the folks that remember chanting EC Dub, there's your connection right there. I doubt we will see more than one death match a year out of AEW or any other organization. I think that was testing the waters, and to do it on a Jericho retirement tier, that's the best way to do it, to where you don't feel like AEW is too far out there to be a legitimate mainstream company, but that they're willing to go further than WWE is to let the older fans have something they want on the books.
I am curious too, because one of my buddies was there ringside because he showed up on TV a couple of times. I want to ask him what he felt about it being that close and maybe even getting glass on himself, because some people, when the fluorescents were being broke, they showed some people getting some glass on them. And then also Nine and Matt Man from the Rise guys were both there.
Who?
And yeah, exactly. We got Griffey back. That's all I'm saying. So I want to ask them what they thought about it. So a couple people that were there in various parts of the stadium, I am curious what they thought. Maybe I'm one of the only people that really was uncomfortable with it. But again, in order to sell the match, you have to be uncomfortable. If not, you might be a little, bloodthirsty. And it's like, I was trying to think, okay, this reminds me a little bit of a Keanu Reeves movie. And why do I like that, but I don't like this? Because I'm just really worried someone was going to get hurt. And of course, they had pain for sure.
Oh, yeah,
but
it didn't feel good.
They both come out of it all right, I guess. All right, a couple other things from AEW last night. AEW does this thing lately where half their Wednesday nights seem like pay-per-views, and the other half it's kind of like an off night. This very much a pay-per-view atmosphere. Starting off, and I want to talk about this because I know you haven't seen it. You got to see this. The very first match was Hangman and Dark Order versus Kenny Omega and, the Elite. Hangman and Dark Order, they all come out in cowboy outfits, but it's just like they introduce one or two at a time.
Yeah.
The spotlights. It was so cool, so well done. And then the Elite comes out like the Toon Squad.
It's a legit look too.
It's straight up with the whatever that "Are you ready for this" song? I forget what it's called. Is it "Are you ready for this"? It might be. That dun 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 dun, that basketball song.
Y'all ready for this?
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Yeah, it was good.
I'm pretty sure that was the title of that, and that was a good match. The results were not what I wanted, of course, because the Elite are so well
good at their job.
Yes, they are. They are.
Here's the thing.
Master heels for sure.
Here's the thing. Where do they go with this story now?
I don't know.
Exactly.
Isn't
that all? Doesn't it feel nice to not have any idea what next Wednesday is going to look like on the wrestling show, instead of having the same matches over and over 4 weeks in a row before the same match at a pay-per-view?
By the way, I get what your criticism is, but we do still see some of the same matches.
We do.
Just some of the top matches are a little bit different.
Sure.
The other thing I want to point out before we go to break is Tony Khan announced a show in Chicago. And the name of the show in Chicago is The First Dance. And then they go to a cutaway of Sting and Darby Allin. And Darby says, to be the greatest, I'm quoting Darby, to be the greatest, you have to compete in AEW, even if you call yourself the best in the world. So,
you know what that means.
Yes, it means CM Punk, but do they tease it and not happen?
Not a chance. Not a chance.
CM Punk seems a little shifty. It wouldn't shock me if it was going to happen and he no-shows or changes his mind or something like that. Okay.
The Dirt Sheets announced yesterday that both Punk and Daniel Bryanson.
More excited about Daniel Bryan's or Bryan Danielson, whatever, as long as he doesn't hurt himself, because to me, Daniel Bryan, Bryan Danielson, whatever, much better wrestler than CM Punk.
I love Punk. I love CM Punk. And even though CM Punk, the whole straight edge character, I don't resonate with that.
Yeah, and I do, but still.
But I resonate with the rebellious, screw the man, I'm the one doing the work to make this go side. The pipe bomb he
yeah,
dropped.
You'd think I'd be down for that too, but
a little bit. But the pipe bomb he dropped on, what was it, Raw or SmackDown, whatever show it was on, I think it was on Raw that night, remains my favorite promo in the history of wrestling. That remains my favorite. And there are some great ones out there. The cream rise to the top. I'm the son of a plumber, the blue collar working man.
Yeah, as soon as he did that he lost me.
Why?
Yeah, because it was so fake and it was so, everyone thought it was so real. It was so scripted, and I don't get how everyone was fooled over that.
I disagree. I thought it was the most real, legit promo I'd ever watched in wrestling.
It was more like, oh, did you hear what he said? That's to me is exactly what it was. And it's like you guys are so,
by the way,
so easily.
Punk and Colt Cabana are working together again now, by the way. No, there's no way they pitch it like that and he doesn't show up. That would be a turnoff even to me.
And he embarrassed himself when he was in the UFC, and that dropped him for me. He had a second shot, still went in and got his face beat in, and I don't like that. I don't like that because, as a wrestling fan, then you get the see more proof that it's not real, and we know it's not real, but more proof you can't hang with real fighters. Well, what about Brock Lesnar? Whether you like Brock or not, he did okay. Sure. Jake Hager, from what I understand, undefeated. Bobby Lashley, pretty good in the octagon. So, but then you get Phil come along and get his face beat in, and it just looks bad on wrestling and everything all around. And, I'm more of a rebel here because I don't like him.
Look in my eyes. What do you see? Cult of person now. All right, quick break. We'll come back. Got a comment from Dabo Sweeney that has got college football fans up in arms. We'll play it for you when we get back on the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate.
Hope that wasn't anything valuable.
So we talked about the yips earlier. You know what honestly my biggest fear was tonight? It's not the pitch, and it's obviously not getting on a mic. You know my biggest fear is that I would forget how to catch a baseball. Legit. Like I haven't caught a baseball in a mitt in 7-8 years. I like the throwing motion. It may take a while to dial it in, but the throwing motion is the throwing motion. That's never going to go away.
I'm not sure I've ever caught a baseball.
Really?
I've only caught softballs.
Really?
Yeah, because I never played softball. I mean baseball. I played softball in the Cub Scouts, and then played church league some, and then my daughter played for 12 years or something like that. So I'm out throwing with her and stuff. But the baseball players at my school, which we talked about my high school yesterday, so you can imagine.
Yeah, teachers beating and shooting students.
The baseball players were preppies with their collars up.
Yeah,
and those are not my people.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like one of those riding the bike things. Like, let me warm back up, and it'll come right back to me. But I haven't caught a baseball in got to be closer.
But you
to 10
don't
years
have to catch the ball, do you?
No, we're gonna play some catch. Well, I don't know if you're gonna play some catch. I'm gonna throw a baseball.
What I'm talking about is when you're out there throwing the first pitch, they're gonna walk out and hand you the ball, so you don't have to worry about the catcher throwing it to you.
But I still want to play catch a little bit, and Casey set us up to, we probably get to throw with the players a little bit and get some time in. I have not thrown and caught a baseball in probably 10 years. So I was like, dude, if somebody wings one at me, like put some mustard on it, I got to remember how to catch a ball. I'm thinking it's like riding a bike. It'll just take one, and I'll be like, boom, it's back.
If you played the game, how long did you play?
Oh God, 17 years, 18 years.
I'm guessing while playing, you did a bunch of drills.
Oh yeah.
Those drills never go away.
Yeah.
It's drills, and repetitiveness is all about instinct, so you don't have to think about it.
Glad we're not sitting next to anybody's office.
Oh, there's no doubt, Stephen. We already knew that. And by the way, good for him.
Missed a comment. When you grow up on a golf course, you're a preppy, not pointing any fingers. I do never popped my collar, to be abundantly clear. Bro.
I know someone who probably did and still does.
I wasn't a prep. I was a country
He'll be on the air about 15 minutes.
I guarantee you Mark Ryan popped collars.
He still does. I'm pretty sure I've seen pictures.
I think you're right. I think I saw him. I think he did a remote at a Publix one day, or not a Publix, in Ingles one day with a pop collar, and I called him on it. And he was like, bro, it's really sunny outside. I was protecting my neck. I want to say
he wouldn't want to look like one of the locals. Is that what he meant?
Yeah. Clip number 1. So college football expansion has been the name of the game this week. Got away from it a little bit today, but Dabo Swinney was at an event in the Ville earlier this week, the Coaches for Charity event that took place. First time that he and Shane Beamer met each other face-to-face since Shane O was elected as the head coach of the Gamecocks. Welp, Dabo got asked about college football expansion and where he thinks we're going. Here is what Coach Swinney had to say about it.
You know, this is the first dominoes are falling. Ultimately, you know, the more expansion you have, the more you're going to have super conferences, and probably somewhere down the road. I don't know when it is. Is it 5 years? Is it 10 years? But there probably will be some type of, 40, 50, 60 team league that kind of has, their own commissioner or whatever, and 12, 16 team playoff. I don't know. It's probably ultimately where it's going, but right now it's just all about trying to get ready for Georgia, September 4th. I got my hands full. So we got camp starting next week, and all that stuff will take care of itself sooner or later. But it is what it is, and in our roles, we don't really have any input in that. Our job is to get our teams ready and play by whatever rules they give us, and that's what we'll do.
So there you go. Dabo says he thinks sometime in the future, doesn't know when, could be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 50 years, but at some point in the future, he said he thinks there's the possibility of a 60-team super conference that would have its own playoffs, its own brackets, its own president, its own championship, et cetera, et cetera. And here's the thing, Zoe.
He was listening to the show yesterday, obviously.
Obviously. He's right. He's right. Because at this point, you're looking at the SEC. You're looking at how big they've grown by adding Texas and Oklahoma. You're looking at the fact that the valuation of that conference is now greater than the valuation of the NCAA the year that Texas and OU jump in. And if that's the case, why would you not want to do your own thing? We've all thought the NCAA was out for a while now, right? We've all thought for a while that the NCAA was eventually going to use its power. Hell, Mark Emmert, the president of the NCAA, not but a week ago said, I think it's time we start decentralizing the power, putting more of the power into the hands of the schools and the conferences, limiting what the NCAA actually does. Well, if that's the point, why not just get rid of it entirely? And Dabo says a 60-team super. At that point, Lonzo, it's not a conference anymore, right? It's a league. It's just its own league. It's not a conference.
Right. I mean, we brought this up yesterday that there's a good shot that they end up taking the NFL model, and that's what that will be. You have that many, and there'll be East, West, all the different divisions, all that kind of thing. If you're going to do it, might as well just go ahead and do it. Go ahead and get rid of the NCAA, and let's go to it wouldn't be NFL Light, it wouldn't be NFL Junior. Let's just get to it.
Yeah,
because it will be so new for us all the way around. There will be new matchups. There'll be, it will be fun. College football, as we know it, is changing, and I just wish it would go ahead and get there. I don't like the gradual thing. Let's just go ahead. Let's just make it happen so we can get used to it.
Yeah, I think you're right. And Dabo thinks you're right too. Again, it's because he was listening to us on the show the other day, and no other reason. But
he often gets his material from us.
In fairness, I don't blame him.
Me either.
I don't blame him at all.
And you may think, well, they're joking, but he is in our listening area.
He is. I'm just saying. Program number 1 in Dabo's truck. Dabo, call us. Come on, man. We'll push late for you. All right, 844-477-3776, 844-GSP-ESPN. Text us on the Ingles Market text line at 71307. Dabo says 60-team super conference with its own commission, its own league, its own players, its own playoffs without recognizing the NCAA is inevitable. Agree or disagree? Twitter trending topics to wrap it up. When we come back, go to thespartanburgers.com to get your tickets for tonight's matchup against the Forest City Owls. Lonzo and I will be there in attendance. We want you to come out and say hi. Back after this on ESPN Upstate. You ever read here?
Surgery is your only option. We're excited to tell you about QC Kinetics. Right here in Greenville and Asheville, QC Kinetics is the leader in biologic therapies, regenerative solutions that can repair and restore damaged tissue in your joints with no drugs, no surgery, no downtime. Knee pain, back pain, shoulder pain, pain in your hips. Patients here are raving about getting lasting results from QC Kinetics.
So Diesel is in there rocking out to Kickstart My Heart. And so I was thinking, are you getting a walkout song when you go out to the mound?
Correct answer is Cowboys from Hell by Pantera.
Do you think Casey has that?
I hope so. If not, it's going to be Darth Vader's Imperial March.
Well, I'll volunteer to sing the Barney song as you walk out.
You're uninvited. It's my favorite thing. So this guy says, I'm obsessed with the stance. The guy says that will have a huge recoil reason. This woman just won gold for sharpshooting pistols in the Olympics. And this guy's like, I can do it better.
I can honestly say the people that we've seen, at least archery wise, I would not mess with those people.
No.
Men or women. They got that look on their face like, hey, you can start running now. You're not going to get far enough away. I've decided that I'm too nervous to go, and I'm having a stomach issue. Can't explain it, Dad, but here's a song. Explain it for me. Still love the LED things on the fencing mass. I just think that is so cool.
The what?
When someone gets a point, it flashes
lights
across.
up
Yeah,
across,
it's like laser tag. Is this the foil or is it? I thought they already did the foil. Is this the Epi?
Oh, you know the different styles?
I think there are 3 different ones that they're doing. Ever wonder if these people would actually win a real duel, though?
It'd be much shorter.
Yeah.
Oh, she just went screaming after.
She did. She's not happy.
I wonder if there's a place to go fencing in South Carolina.
I don't know.
That would be awesome.
One of the a Renaissance festival in Ohio we went to, they put a balloon on top. You get to wear leather armor, and they put a balloon on top, and it was you had to pop the balloon. Me and my cousin, both about the same size, pretty big. We drew crowds away from other shows to come and watch us. We were once you hit it once, I hit him once and caught him on the shoulder.
Like you're
the
other?
thing wrapped around and smacked him on the back, and I'm like, okay, it's on. And then he made the he looked at the crowd and said, "I am fighting for my wife's honor. This man besmirched my wife." And then at one point, the balloon flew off his head, and so he just knelt. And I looked at the audience, Will, like this, and started to come down, and the guy was over the thing, grabbed my arm, stopped me. So I thought all Renaissance festivals had those, and apparently they don't. It was so cool. All right, it's time for Twitter Trending Topics, where I tell Rob what is trending, and he will tell everyone, all of us, what he knows about it. The honey badger is trending.
Really? I made it.
Way to go, man. Way to go.
Dadgummit.
2:55:47.
2:55:47.
That's the exact time.
I was like, what in the world? It was like my measurements? I feel like I'm
Hey, man.
I'm bigger than 2:55 now.
I'm executive producer. I deal in seconds.
Do not know why the honey badger is trending. Is it an actual honey badger, or are we talking about the football player?
I'm talking about Tyrann Mathieu.
Okay. No idea why he's
All
trending.
right, he is trending because Madden points are out.
That's right. The DB ratings dropped today.
Yeah.
So is he in the 99 club?
For the safeties, he's in 95.
95.
But he's number one as far as safeties go. Do you have a problem with that?
There's
No, there's a separate one for cornerbacks, which I'm going to get to in a second.
No, I don't think I have a problem with it. I'll tell you, I think it's probably league-wise one of the most shallow positions. I mean, there's good safeties out there, but not a ton of them. I would say
When I think of safety, he's probably the only name that pops up.
Yeah, Buda Baker's up there. Devin McCourty's up there, but McCourty's not as good as Honey Badger. So I'd say he's probably the best. Minka Fitzpatrick is in there.
Yeah.
Honestly, Jamal Adams. I'm really having trouble coming up with any more off the top of my head.
All right, so the cornerbacks are also trending because of the Madden rating. Who do you think's number one? All right, for the interest of time, I can
not
tell
Richard
you.
Sherman.
No, it's not. He's busy right now.
No idea who's number one.
It's Jalen Ramsey.
Yep.
He got a 99.
That's the right answer. Oh, he's a 99 club.
Got a 99. Yes, he
and
did.
so when they hand out the Madden rankings, there's only a handful of players that get 99 overalls, and I know Aaron Donald got one this year. He got one. Jalen Ramsey. I don't know who else got a 99 this year. I can't imagine there's many more. I think one running back got one.
Didn't Mahomes get it, or was it?
Did they give it to Mahomes this year?
I think so, but it could be. I know he got it. Maybe it was last year. Sure, he got it. All right, so the next thing that's trending is Hawkeye.
I'm assuming people are still talking about the post-credit scene of Black Widow, which we are out of the spoiler alert window now.
Which means tomorrow we might actually talk about it.
Fanboy Friday.
Yeah. Hawkeye is trending because release date was just put out today. It is releasing on November 24th, which is a Wednesday because Disney Plus is going to do Wednesdays now.
So Thanksgiving window.
Yep.
I'm in, man. I'm in. I'm gonna watch it.
Are you in just because you want to see when Florence Pugh shows up?
Yes, and I'll tell you, I didn't love the more that I thought about it, I don't love the post-credit trailer. I don't, because I get they're trying to work.
Gotta love Val though.
Yeah, love Val, and I love Julia Louis-Dreyfus. She's one of my favorites.
Which she's just straight up being her too.
Oh, and it's great. It's perfect. But the problem I have with it is like one conversation with Bruce Banner and that whole subplot's done, right?
I think you should save that for tomorrow.
Fanboy Friday tomorrow, 2:20 p.m. Be here for it. We talk comic books and movies and music and video games and whatever else you want to talk about on Fanboy Friday.
You ready to throw that heat?
Heat and meat, baby. Hashtag Beef Boys Summer. Go to thespartanburgers.com to grab your tickets. Come out, hang out with me and Lonzo tonight at historic Duncan Park in Spartanburg. Spartan Burgers versus the Forest City Owls. That's going to be at 7:05. Come say hi. Love to see you. We'll be back to try over and do it again tomorrow. Mark Ryan and Diesel up next with Offsides. For Lonzo, I'm Rob. Thanks for listening to The Rob Brown Show right here on ESPN Upstate. Later. Was Kevin Nash trending by
No.
any account? See y'all.